What is up, everyone? What is up? How's everyone doing? Out of the loop. Was Firefox on the Epstein list? No, but it is on the AI hype list, and that really upset me. So I actually did finally ditch it. For those of you not aware, Firefox has a new CEO, well, specifically the Mozilla Foundation. We talked about this, a little while ago. Let me see if I can pull up that story. Let's see. Mozilla CEO AI. There we go. We talked about this a few weeks ago. I'll bring this up right over here. Alright, should be up. So, Mozilla's next chapter, building the world's most trusted software company. Sounds good at first, right? But then, let me get to the AI section. Navigating AI's arrival, blah, 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 AI. First, every product we build must give people agency in how it works. Privacy, data use, and AI must be clear and understandable. Seems acceptable. Controls must be simple. AI should always be a choice, something people can easily turn off. People should know why a feature works, why it does, the way it does, and the way they get, the value they get, what value they get from it. God, I cannot speak today. The problem is, was this the one? Hold on. I don't think this was the blog post itself. Hold on. I'm gonna find the other one. AI, Mozilla, browser. There was something specific. Oh, yeah, this was a month ago. Mozilla, we're building the way. Okay, here we are. Had to find it. Firefox to evolve into a modern AI browser. That's what they said. So, let me snooze that for a sec. People want software that's fast, modern, but also honest about what it does. They want to understand what's happening and to have real choices. Mozilla and Firefox can be that choice. Few companies share our strengths. People trust our brand. Firefox brings us global reach, yada, 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 yada. Okay, yeah, this was the actual thing, so I was right. Our business model must align with trust. We will grow through transparent monetization that people recognize and value. Firefox will grow from a browser into a broader ecosystem of trusted software. Firefox will remain our anchor. It will evolve into a modern AI browser and support a portfolio of new and trusted software editions. That's the reason why I've officially ditched Firefox. Now, I'm using Floorp, which is still based on the Firefox engine, but ultimately, you know, you either have the Chromium monopoly you are endorsing, or you go with the Firefox engine until Ladybird or other alternatives come out there. Ladybird is one that we've been keeping an eye on, but we shall see where we go from here in the future. And then also, I have another announcement to make. I am officially moving away from using Gemini in terms of my AI that's integrated. So today, you may have noticed, well, you may not have noticed, but look, I have all the notifications going there, but it's going through Olama. It's going through the server that I have near the network rack, running as my LLM, using Gemma 3 4B on an NVIDIA 3050 to process all the messages for when I go live to Blue Sky, Mastodon, Discord, and Matrix, and it's doing that when I'm live for Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. Only one GPU. It's got 2 GPUs in there, but Gemma 3 4B is only on the 3050. It's got 2 GPUs. If I can remember, what is the command? Curl. Oh, there's 2 GPUs there. What do you think of the new Clicks communicator? Haven't seen it. It's running Ubuntu on the server? Yeah, it's running Ubuntu on that server. The Raspberry Pi is talking to my Olama server to do all of that stuff. So there's a Docker container running Stream Daemon, the software that I've released open sourced a few months ago, and there's now a new edition that you can run either Gemini or Gemma 3 or whatever else you want. So basically it's just you can run Gemini or you can run Olama, and you can do whatever you want, and the prompts are in there to do whatever. So the way it goes, as I've explained to many other people, it reads the stream title. What's up, Hans? It reads the stream title and then runs it through the LLM, and the LLM will then create a post for Blue Sky, Mastodon, Discord, and Matrix based off of the title on Twitch, Kick, and or YouTube. I'm eventually going to be adding the feature for you to be able to monitor multiple streamers. I also added this feature as well into today's YouTube video that came out. There was a little bit of a hiccup and I had to, fix it, but it is going through my own LLM from now on. So all of my notifications, there's no if this then that, there's no Zapier, there's none of that. Because none of them support all the platforms I want to do. It's all in my own home lab, on my own hardware, and on my own network, under my own control. Great. So, once I get the firewall replaced, I have a new firewall, as I've been showing, that's going to be built over here. I'm waiting for the RAM to arrive. What's my GitHub? Same as my username, ChiefGeek3D. Chief Geek 3D, either way. The link's in the bio for my GitHub. So if you want to go check out my GitHub repositories, you can totally do that. There's a couple dozen projects in there. But yeah, so far I am liking Floorp. I don't know why I didn't move over sooner. Look at this. Look how clean this is. Look how clean this is. This is running the Firefox engine, so it's still not Chromium. When you open up a new page, you don't get any of those ads over there. You got a sidebar that you can actually put little things. So they have Floorp docs over here. What was it? You can actually do what was it? Floorp notes. Oh yeah. You can put little notes in here if you want. The company, the people behind us obviously is Japanese, but you can totally put a new note in here. So this is great. I can do notes on the go over here. So if I'm writing pages, and look how clean that is. And sorry, TikTok people, you don't get to see the full screen. All the cool stuff is happening just off screen. You're not on YouTube, right? I feel like at some point you said you won't be on YouTube. Am I tripping? No, I never said I would never be on YouTube. I said I'd never be on Rumble. Are you adept to GPL licenses as Richard Stallman intended? What do you mean adept to? I don't get what you mean by that statement. But everything that, most of the stuff I make is either GPL V2, V3, or Mozilla Public License 2.0. Where am I streaming? I am streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube, and TikTok. What would be the most optimized distro to play out of the box with performance? Here's the thing, and I keep saying this, and I know I've said this multiple times on different streams. You need to get out of the idea of what Linux is really better than another. The reality is, for the most part, they all perform the same. You're all using the same Linux kernel. You're all using the same drivers. You're all using the same Steam software. You're all using the same Proton. You're not really going to get that much of a difference. Some people say Arch, or what is it, Bazite or whatever. Look, I'm doing just fine with Pop! OS. I've had no complaints with it. just pick a distribution that honestly suits your workflow. Enjoy it. What's your handle on YouTube? It's the same, I have the same username everywhere, and the links are in the bio for anywhere you want to go. I like consistency, so I have the same username on all platforms. Technically, I'm on Twitter too, but I have it private, and I just don't care for Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky and Mastodon, though. I also have a Discord. I also have a Matrix. So, YouTube, there's a new video that just came out today about how, AI is a bubble, and I think 95% of businesses are going to fail. But I'm not hating on AI, because like I just said, I run my own AI LLM locally so that I can do my own prompts and stuff like that. And RedNote. I gotta post more on RedNote, but the problem is, like, I just have such little time to do everything I need to do. Like, right now, most of my videos are essentially coming from YouTube. So, basically, the main place where my clips come from these days is clips from the YouTube videos or clips from the stream. That's where the majority are these days. There's not much you can do. Maybe one day if I become a full-time content creator, I will focus, like, to do stuff like that. That's a kind of lofty goal, and right now it's still just a fun little side project here. Show my favorite terminal tools. I just use the terminal. I don't really, like... A lot of the terminal tools I used to like don't exist anymore. Like, I used to do Reddit through terminal. Nowadays, I just use terminal as I need it for work. Git clone, git pull, git commit, git add. Do the Docker thing, all that. I'm kind of boring these days. Years ago, I used to be fun. Still messing with ham radio? Yeah. Here and there. I haven't done it nearly as much because I have so many other projects I'm trying to get to. I still have the computer that I have in the ham shack behind me that needs to be set up for ham radio. That's on my to-do list. There's so many things that I need to get around to. I thought I missed something. I don't know what the clicks communicator is. Don't burn out, man. I work on a drilling rig, run an art gallery at home, and my only child is 1.5. I forget my name sometimes. Now, the thing that's burning me out is my job. I'm genuinely looking for a new job. I hate the job that I'm at. They're micromanaging as hell. The leadership is so out of touch and toxic. They're just, they're the epitome of useless management that has to do things in order to make themselves feel like they're valuable, when in reality, they don't add much value to the actual overall workflow. In fact, they add impedances. They are the prime example of why I tell people the number one thing that we should replace with AI is management. I would listen to an LLM basically tell me, okay, you've got these tasks, this is your priority, go. I've got champagne in my refrigerator waiting for me once I accept a new job. Fair enough. How's the job search looking for you? I got another interview tomorrow morning. I got an interview with one prospect tomorrow morning. One hasn't returned my messages, but, they didn't return anything. They were supposed to get back to me end of business Friday, but it's Martin Luther King weekend, so who knows? Maybe it'll come back tomorrow. I have another first round with another one tomorrow, and then the job that I'm really hoping to get, I don't have the second round until next week. Either way, I'm waiting until mid-February when bonuses and all that get paying out, and then I'm out. How many sales and marketing people do you think are inside TikTok? Like, on the company? Or, at the company? Or do you mean, like, in terms of influencers and stuff? My friends asked if I interviewed at a crack house when I described the tour discussion interview I had. What? Oh, the one you told me about a while ago? Yeah. Yeah. The actual number. Actual number of what? Like, the number of people that work at TikTok that are that? Switch from Windows to Catchy OS, never going back. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are really, really done with Windows, and I think this is like the first time in a long time where it's felt like, not first time in a long time, first time in really forever, as far as I can remember, that it's felt like a solid momentum of, we're done, Microsoft, F you. And can we talk about another thing that's really been pissing me off, and I'm going to be making a whole other video about this later. What is with all the people clickbaiting on YouTube videos? Like saying, Bill Gates is frustrated that people are running away from Windows. Bill Gates is frustrated, you know, like all that. And I'm sitting here like, motherfucker, Bill Gates hasn't been involved in Windows in like a decade. Satya Nadella has been the CEO since 2014. Like, we now have an entire generation of people that don't even know of Bill Gates. In my entire adult life, he was gone most of it. Like, I think the hiring manager wanted to hire me, but due to circumstances mostly beyond his control, they had to go forward with another candidate. Then like 3 days later, he emailed me about another role and that they would let me go directly to the final interview if I was still interested. So that's interesting. Huh. 20 years, right? Minimum thing to hiring, man. They're probably better for not knowing who he is. Oh, yeah. Like, let's just do a thing here. Okay, let's just do a thing. I'm just gonna look at YouTube, okay? Oh, yeah, did you see that Reddit mod video? The video of this dude? Like, the stereotypical Reddit mod with the comb over? That dude. I watched the video from Moist Critical on that dude, and the video is just like so cringe. I'm like, dude, Reddit mods are less important than even a high school janitor. High school janitors are much more important to society as a whole. But where was it? All right, so I'm just curious. If we search Bill Gates. Okay, so with these, okay, yeah, like, look. Bill Gates stunned as Windows 11 revolt goes global. Bill Gates isn't even involved. Why I hate Bill Gates. Okay, that's 3 years ago. You know, like, that, but, that's, like, one of the only examples I've seen here. But, like, Windows 11, he hasn't been involved with that. Let me see. Let's just do something. Windows 11. Look at this. Microsoft releases emergency patch with Bill Gates' face. Microsoft Windows 11. It's from Clownfish TV. Yeah, they definitely are clowns if they're doing that. Like, look at that. Like, Bill Gates hasn't been around. Bill Gates shocked as Windows 11 rejection turns permanent. Bill Gates is not shocked. He doesn't give a fuck anymore. He's retired. Like, look at this. Okay, look at this. This is Satya Nadella. I approve of this. AI art of Satya Nadella. Okay. Satya Nadella. It feels like to me anyone... There we go. Another one with Bill Gates panics. Bill Gates does not give a fuck. He's got billions of dollars. This tech report keeps popping up. And I think Tech Report and like Clownfish TV have been like the two biggest what's the word? Crap. Not victims. Perpetrators. Perpetrators of this damn problem. Like, do I have issues with Bill Gates? Historically, yeah, but at this point, I couldn't give a crap less. The stuff that he's at least doing nowadays, Epstein Island aside, is actually good. because he's got the Bill Gates Foundation. He's spent billions of dollars trying to help, actually less less well-off, what do you call it? More impoverished peoples and areas to be able to have a better life. And you know what? Say what you will, I didn't care for Bill Gates, during the Windows era. The Department of Justice got on his case in an antitrust lawsuit. He was kind of tyrannical. He would harass reporters that said anything negative about Windows. But I really think that if anyone is speaking about Bill Gates in a context of Microsoft and Windows, at this point, it's a historical and archival sense. If we want to talk about Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer, like when I talk about why did Microsoft Windows 95 finally add the TCP/IP stack, it's because Steve Ballmer got annoyed so much. This is straight up truth. He got annoyed so much by people asking about a TCP/IP stack, because back in the day you had to install Trumpet to be able to run TCP/IP in Windows, something we think that's ubiquitous. It was not. And it was, I don't know what this TCP/IP shit is, but just add it in so they can stop bothering me about it, was basically his sentiment. I was out of chat. Screaming match with a mod Thursday. But a pet snake, for God's sake, I had to stop and say this is ridiculous. What, the pet snake or this? But, yeah. I think it's high past time that we, move on from hating on Bill Gates for Windows. If we want to hate on him from a historical sense, absolutely. In the same way as we can hate on, Mussolini, Hitler, Stalin, all those different people. You can still hate on them from a historical sense. But at this point in time, there's not much you can look at them and say that they're the, guilty of the problem of today. Because at a certain point, they're gone. And what blows my mind is whenever we, go hate on Apple, we don't go look at Steve Wozniak. We don't go looking at Steve Jobs. We go straight to Tim Cook. Oh, when we hate on NVIDIA, we go straight to Jensen Huang. Oh, when we hate on Facebook, we go right to Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, yeah, he's the owner that is founder there. But my point still stands. Have I used LibreBoot? In the past. But, one laptop has core boot. Well, technically it's core boot, but it's pure boot. But, this Cubes OS laptop over here, this is pure boot, which is a fork of, core boot. It's pretty good. I like it. I'm doing alright. But yeah, so I officially am ditching Firefox. I'm moving on to Floorp. What's the advantage of Pure Boot and LibreBoot? You don't have Intel Management Engine. You don't have that extra computer inside your computer. That's basically just a Minix web server inside of there. Minix, it's another operating system. You don't really touch it anymore, but it's a thing. But yeah, I'm really liking Floorp. I've just installed it. I've installed it a few months ago, but I'm actually using it now. Like, I changed over my browser and everything. I still got Firefox in the dashboard. I'm still going to use Thunderbird. Is the t-shirt cotton or a combination of polyester? This is cotton. But it's kind of cool because you can actually, I can add different panels over here, and I can just immediately do whatever I want with it. I still haven't fully explored this, but this is kind of nice because when Firefox is like, we're gonna, be an AI browser, I don't want my browser to have AI built in. If I want AI, I want the ability to pick my AI and do what I want. Like, I added this panel here for ChatGPT. It's in my ChatGPT account. And then I can immediately just kick it away. What about Opera? Fuck Opera! They haven't been good in years. They're basically, especially Opera GX, they've turned into like the spyware company. They're owned by a Chinese consortium. I'm not hating on them because they're Chinese. I'm hating on them because they're just investors doing what investors do and trying to extract wealth. Copilot AI is coming to Windows File Explorer.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that?
Opera used to be great, don't get me wrong. But Opera is just another Chromium browser. That's all it is. There's nothing really that unique about it. It's a Chromium browser with their own extra crap that isn't even that great. And all the features that people are like, oh, I can control my resources and all that. You really can't. At least with this, I can go to, what is it? About config. I can fully control everything I want in here. Classic old Firefox hacking. What about Mosaic? Haha! I like your words, funny magic man. What about Chromium? Base Chromium, I mean, I really only use it to just, do the multi-chat. So the only reason I have Chromium open, just so you guys see, because you can see it at the bottom of my dashboard, is simply that when I do the multi-streaming, because I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Kick, and Twitch, I merge all the chat in using Social Stream Ninja so I can see every chat over here in one panel. That's the only reason I actually use Chromium. That's it. If I need a Chromium-based browser, I generally go to Brave. What about Brave or Maxium? Maxthon? Brave is probably the one I keep using. My mentor actually used to work there. She was a project manager over at Brave at one point in her career. Brave has AI in it, but bring your own, bring your LLM or server. Yeah, they have their Leo thing, but you can have it more customizable. I just don't like how Mozilla's been doing everything. Did you ever use, you mean Alta Vista, not Vista Alta? Yeah, back in the day, everyone used Alta Vista, before Google was really a, big-ass thing. But, yeah. So, I'm glad that my, little LLM notification is actually working. Oh wait, it put the same message for all three, so I'm just curious. What did it do to my Blue Sky? And my Mastodon? I didn't really test this out too much before I actually, got on stream. You know, good old test and production. Okay, so it put the same thing. No, it put different hashtags there. Hashtag hello, bye. Yeah. So it put a different message for each platform, so I'm gonna have to tweak that. Another thing that I came across, by the way, before I was on stream, someone was sharing this with me on GitHub. Also curious, did it? Interesting. So it made a slightly different one for Mastodon. But did Blue Sky get different? Pull up and join the pull up and join the chaos. Oh, it's basically the it's actually there's slightly different, just very subtle differences. Which job are you taking next? A cybersecurity job. Okay, so this was something that I came across. It's archived right now, but this was a project that was a Virus Total wannabe, now with 100% more hipster. So, Malice's mission is to be a free open source version of Virus Total that anyone can use at any scale, from an independent researcher to a Fortune 500 company. I like the idea of this project, but unfortunately it hasn't been maintained in a few years. It was probably a lot of work, but also, yeah, there's not been any new issues open since 2020. Kind of a shame that a lot of these projects go on, and it's like, yeah, the last release was actually 2018. And then a bunch of issues were open, nothing was done after. Let's say private versus public, not everyone understands. I don't know. It'll be a company that pays money and preferably lets me work from home, or at the least hybrid. Part of the reason I'm leaving the job that I have is they've announced that they're going full return to office, and I'm like, fuck that! They're already trying to micromanage the hell out of me, and I don't like micromanagement. Give us a clue. Okay, it's a company. They have doors. They have windows. They also maybe use Windows. They have servers. They're on the internet. What sets Brave apart from other browser besides it's got ad blocker? It's also got Tor built into it as an option. A lot of people don't know that. You can actually do Tor straight from it. Let me see if we can get the option here. Yeah, new private window with Tor. So that's one nice feature it has. Of course, you can use the standard Tor browser. It's basically Chromium based with a lot less crap. Oh, it's T-Mobile. Hey, Vampire. Come here. Come here. I have to say, out of all the additions that I've done to the stream in the past year, this little remote to the camera, one of my favorites. Like, don't get me wrong, I've also got this remote for the camera on a gimbal, which we don't use nearly as much, but I got, you know, the Sony camera definitely is higher quality, I will say that. But, yeah. So, I've been tinkering quite a bit. I've at least been getting back to my projects. So, Stream Demon and BoonTube Demon finally have all their dependencies up to date. And I now have Olama baked into them. The next thing is going to be Yo Mama as a service. And I'm going to be baking into it as well. I have to build another LLM server. It's going to be baked into the Discord, and then soon the Matrix. That'll be the moderation bot. But the moderation bot is also going to be... I'm going to be moving from regex into using LLMs to parse nuance. And also be able to harass the Arch users. Because you know how, like, we have the Arch leader dashboard, like, anytime somebody mentions an Arch-related thing, and then it gives you, like, there's a leaderboard for fun. I'm going to be putting in LLM with that so that you can have that parsed and everything. And then we'll also be parsing the Twitch and Kick chats so that we can record the history, we can moderate it a little bit better than the Stream Elements regex-based mod bot can work with, and have a little bit of fun. Like, we're going to bring back the Frosty Tools-esque kind of roasting that it used to do, And, Vampire, I've already told Just Dev this. There will be waits. So I'm gonna have it weighted to harass Just Dev just more than anyone else in the chat. Oh, not in the chat. It's not in the chat yet for the stream. That's coming soon. I have to get around to sitting and doing it. I only, the priority was getting, the YouTube BoonTube Demon fixed, getting the, Stream Demon fixed. I'm gonna get the Discord and stuff fixed, and then, I will be getting the, mod bot and other enhancements built. Problem is, I've just been so burnt out with my job, it's kind of hard to, you know, justify doing all this work. Bad can't bully Abby. Oh, we can totally do that. She was in the chat. She should still be here. Here I am, direct the day. Oh yeah, she was in here right before you were, Vampire. Nothing wrong with Arch Linux. There's nothing wrong with Arch Linux. There's everything wrong with Arch Linux users. They don't touch grass that often. And, you can basically just call Manjaro and CatchyOS users and all that daywalkers, because they're basically just Arch users that, touch grass. A little. Is this a real life? Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide. Why do you ask that why do you ask that, like, so often? Like, you come in and like, is this a real life? I don't know. Is anything real? Are we all living in a simulation? What's up, Madison? I just found out Siri was originally created by DARPA, then Apple bought it out. I don't know if it was DARPA that made it, but I knew it was another company. Doing alright. Oh no, with the Arch thing. Well, we can definitely weight it towards her, too. I can weight it towards any user. I'm going to be making my own bot. You said I touch... You said grass I touch. Redacted. I do touch grass, thank you very much. I also admit I'm a masochist for using Arch. Well, yeah. That too. I'm going to switch to Gen 2 to ensure that I don't ever touch grass. Okay, but seriously, you know, it's been about 10 years since I have actually met someone that used Gen 2. Like, didn't just, like, tinker with it. Was like, oh, I seriously use Gen 2. Are you gonna watch videos tonight? Yeah, we got a few videos to watch. I can get to the right place. Wait, somebody have a message? Okay. Review on stream. What all did we have? We had quite a few things. Oh, thank you for this. Vampire, you left a note for where I was at last stream. Cool. Alright, so we got some news articles to go through before. Oh no, Chief is going to make the bot and make fun of puppy girls and cobalt addictions. You think I won't? I am gonna have it roast my own mod.
One-Eyed Meek is now chilling in the lab.
Hey, thank you for the follow. Currently the iPhone 17 Pro Max is secure. I mean, yeah. But you know what's even more secure? Touching grass and talking to people. One step down from that, tin cans and string. One step down from that, iPhone. How many people do know how to use sudo? Quite a bit. At least in this field. Alright, so Atlanta Field Office's forensic dart truck puts a bullseye on child exploitation. This is from the Secret Service. Alright, so nobody threatened the president. We're on the Secret Service's site. For all we know, they've bugged my mic. Okay, jokes aside. But anyway. Alright, got that. Secret Service's Atlanta field office solved this problem with the new deployment of a digital analysis response truck, DART, this month. This provides agents with a safe, fully equipped mobile environment for on-site forensic analysis. Oh. I kind of want it. Like, can you imagine getting that, pulling up to your buddy and being like, all right, we're doing a LAN match, Halo tonight. Stop making jokes. When I stop breathing. If you do, I'm going to fill up review on stream with puppy girls and Kobo videos. Alright, so, when we arrive with a search warrant and child exploitation investigations, often we don't know which device was utilized on that Wi-Fi router, requiring us to check all the devices at a scene, said Zach Buehlner, assistant to the special agent in charge in the AFO's Digital Evidence Forensic Lab, DEFL. Having this vehicle gives us a place to conduct forensic downloads and analysis, greatly increasing the chance that the perpetrator is leaving the scene in handcuffs. You know what? I'm okay with this. At first, I was like, what is this, like a mobile Stingray thing? But no, if they're like literally just like taking the devices and doing forensic analysis on site there, rather than sending it off to a lab, I'm totally okay with this because there's two things. Let's say somebody innocent is getting caught up with it. You can rule them out pretty quick. Okay? Rather than just, you know, on the safe side, they take their phone and then send it off to a lab, and then you're just kind of like, well, shit. But you can do at least a little bit more analysis there. The DART operates on a four-wheel drive SUV platform as opposed to a traditional van platform, making rural locations reachable that would otherwise be inaccessible. Huh. I wonder what vehicle this is, though. Like, I want to get, like, a 360 view of this truck, because, like, all I see is this. So, like, it's got me asking so many questions, because, like, you have this screen over here, okay? Let me see. Copy image link. So, like, you have this screen over here, all right? This screen. Does that, like, just fold out as a door? Is it, like, tucked in? Like, I want to know physically how this operates. This actually seems kind of cool. And then I also want it for my LAN party. How many decades, ask yourself, do people wait? For what? Until we get the Epstein list released? I don't know. From concept deployment, the total time was less than 2 years. The team presented the DART concept to the Treasury Executive Office for Asset Forfeiture in June 2024, requesting $110,000 and receiving immediate approval. Wait, this vehicle's only $110,000? I know I'm, like, saying $110,000 like this is, like, you know, not a lot of money, but it actually isn't, considering all of what must be in that vehicle. So I'm totally cool with this. This is one of those times where I'm like, law enforcement, thumbs up. For decoding information if individuals do it. Oh yeah, that takes some time. Let's see. Mandiant releases rainbow table that cracks weak admin passwords in 12 hours. Well, I got another late rainbow table to download. Wait, can I download this? Come on, let me download it. Ooh. Wait, why was this looking like December 13th, 2024? Oh, really? You're gonna make me have to use... I'll deal with that later. So... what makes this cool... Alright, so rainbow tables, for those of you who are not aware... So everyone, for the most part here, is... most people here are familiar with the concept of brute forcing. So, have you ever seen that Family Guy episode... when Stewie is lost with Brian and needs to call Lois, and he's like, damn it, I don't know her number. 111. Lois, damn. 11. Lois, damn. That's essentially a brute force. Okay? Now, what a rainbow table is when you take a bunch of passwords that were already leaked and stuff, and instead of just going through like all ones, then a number, all ones and then a 2, and then all ones and a 3, and then like all A's or whatever like that, it takes these and then just runs it through. So it'll be like, it'll run password, then password 1, then password 2, then 1, 2, and then password 1, 2, 3, and then maybe password with an @ sign, and it'll just go through the variations that people use, and it helps crack a lot of systems a lot quicker. I have an entire, I think, 2 hard drives of hashes from when I was at DEF CON. Oh. Eesh. Driver deal. So I think it's, yeah, that's Rainbow Tables 1. And this is Rainbow Tables 2. I think this is Rainbow Tables 3. Yeah, so these hard drives, they're 8 terabytes each. These all have rainbow tables on them. Okay? So what you would do is you would take these rainbow tables, you'd load them in like OC Hashcat, John the Ripper, whatever tool you want, and then you just point it at a something you're trying to crack, and then yeah. Came from DEF CON? Yeah, these are from the from the hard drives over at DEF CON. Last DEF CON, I only brought the Infocon drive because they didn't have any new hash tables there. But next year, if they, this year, if they, more, I'll be bringing my hard drives back. I only have 4 discs. The 5th disc was VX Underground, but I don't really have a lot of time to go tinkering with malware and viruses. Which that's what the VX Underground drive is. Anyway, so if you're doing red teaming, you can actually throw this up and I guess crack a lot of admin passwords in 12 hours. So, security firm Mandiant has released a database that allows any administrative password protected by Microsoft's NTLM v1 hash algorithm to be hacked in an attempt to nudge users who continue to use the deprecated function despite known weaknesses. Yeah, if you're still on NTLM v1, you suck! Wait, who leaked my password? Yo mama, when I was with her last night. I know, bad joke, but I'm still gonna stick with it. Wow, Microsoft released NTLM v1 in the 80s with the release of OS2. I didn't realize it was that old. I know it's been old, but yeah. In 1999, cryptanalyst Bruce Schneier and Mudge published research that exposed key weaknesses in the NTLM v1 underpinnings. At the DEF CON 20 conference in 2012, researchers released a tool set that allowed attackers to move from untrusted network guest to admin in 60 seconds by attacking the underlying weaknesses. With the 1998 release of Windows NT Service Pack 4, in 98, Microsoft introduced NTLM v2, which fixed the weaknesses, which I think also has other weaknesses. The tables first assist attackers in providing per byte hash results with the known plaintext challenge 1122334455667788 because net NTLM hashes are generated with the user's password and the challenge, a known plain text attack. It becomes trivial with these tables to compromise the account. Typically, tools including Responder, Petitpotum, and DFS Coerce are involved. In a thread on Mastodon, that for a second. Open that later. Researchers and admins applauded the move because they said it would give them ammunition when trying to convince decision makers to make investments to move off the insecure function. If you are still running NTLM VA1, this is a huge issue of tech debt.
Tux6 is now chilling in the lab.
Thank you for the follow. Now, Catchy OS is inferior to Windows 11, bro. We love it. No. Windows 11 is basically the short bus kid of a person licking a window in terms of computing. Windows XP is even pointing at it and laughing. So yeah, this is pretty great. So as we see on infosec.exchange, which is one of the largest cybersecurity focused Mastodon servers, I'm federated with them pretty well. Responsible, ethical, I'm not sure. I think it's ethical because this is old. Yeah, they're right. It's old as dirt. But yeah, if you go through, you can see a lot of people are talking about this. Overall, I think it's a great move that this has been released because it will allow more people to actually have ammunition when doing those. All right. What video did Vampire get me? So what I first need to do, make sure my audio's working for all y'all. You love Windows, very good for the soul. To steal your soul, maybe. But, you know, the problem is, do corporations even really have a soul? Alright, let's see.
Front, left.
Okay, audio's going through. Had to make sure. What was it? That's the last update that prevents one from leaving Windows talking. Which update? Corp with a soul. When you find one, let me know. Well, Microsoft doesn't have one for sure. Alright, so let's see. New Bluetooth headphone hack is real and bad. Okay, so the thing is that I've said this many times when people are like, they have souls, it's just the souls they took of their employees. Fair enough. That is a good point, Tux6. So I have never really been a fan of Bluetooth headphones. There's been a myriad of reasons, the audio quality issues and just other things, as well as I don't like the idea of having to charge a headphone and then it dying on me and then I can't use it. Not saying I don't have certain wireless headsets, but primarily if you ever see me out in the wild, I have wired IEMs that I use with a Tangara music player or a USB-C to headphone jack adapter. But Bluetooth was never really designed with security in mind. It was really designed to be the wireless serial equivalent, RS-232. So security has been tacked on top of it, but it's still nowhere near any way, shape, or form it should be.
This new Bluetooth hack can totally hijack your wireless headphones, and in the wrong hands, it could be an absolute menace to society. Also in your hacking news roundup, Logitech accidentally bricked millions of mice,
Part of
and
the
how Telegram
Pan-Personal
can
Area
leak
Network,
your IP.
yeah.
But first, hundreds of millions of Bluetooth headphones and earbuds that support Android's fast pair standard are vulnerable to whisper pair, a sneaky newly discovered hack. So fast pair is a Bluetooth standard.
So Android has a vulnerability. Hooray!
made by Google, enabling you to connect your Bluetooth headphones to your Android phone with a single tap. It's supported by everything from cheapo earbuds all the way up to expensive headphones. But the majority of devices that support it are vulnerable here, and you can't get away from this by using an iPhone. This applies based on whether your headphones support fast pair, even if you don't use it. And if anything, whisper pair is far worse for iPhone users, but we'll get to that. In fairness to Google, the problem isn't fast pair itself, but the fact that most manufacturers don't implement it properly. If, let's say, a set of headphones
You don't say! Manufacturers cut corners! Imagine that!
isn't in pairing mode, it's meant to ignore messages from random devices that want to connect to it. But most manufacturers fail to properly enforce this check, allowing unauthorized devices to easily pair. And unfortunately, this attack is very noob-friendly and cannot be done with a one-size-fits-all script. An attacker scans for nearby devices, selects the one.
So he's just running a Node.js script, am I right? Because it looks like a JS. Yeah, so, oh yeah, it's Node.
Want to target, and the device is taken over in a matter of seconds. From there, an attacker has full control over it. They could ramp up the volume and scare someone half to death, which might sound like a silly example, but it's probably only a matter of time till FlipperZero compatible scripts start being shared around Discord servers. Forget kids opening Tesla charging ports or turning off TVs at McDonald's. They'll be terrorizing society by hijacking people's headphones on public transport.
Okay, I got an idea for DEF CON, because you always see people with headsets there. Let's get a script to do this and rickroll them. I think that'd be fun. Just walk around. Just walk around rickrolling people, and you get a rickroll, and you get a rickroll, and you get a rickroll. We all get a rickroll! But this decision was made because in user testing, not making the devices insecure turned into frustrating noobs. Snaps fingers, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Manufacturers are already pushing out a software update to fix the issue, but only if they already have an app that can update their Bluetooth audio device. And that's the problem. A lot of people don't have apps to pair to their earbuds because a lot of people don't think about that, and a lot of companies probably don't have a companion app to be able to do that. And like he was saying, there's cheapo earbuds that support this, like the $18 ones or that. They're not going to give a shit. Now, if you go get like a $300 Sony headphone, yeah, they might care about it. But, yeah. The Hong Kong 97 SNES loop. Or the Monsters, Inc. theme distorted. Oh. No. Thomas the Tank Engine. Distorted. You know that.
Playing God knows what at max volume. It's also possible to hijack a device's microphone and listen in to private conversations, but perhaps the worst part of this is if a particular audio device isn't already associated with a Google account because it belongs to an iPhone user, for example, then the attacker can add that device to their Google account.
Oh no!
Using Google's Find Hub, they can track its location.
I thought that's exactly where he was gonna go.
Bluetooth range, the target could be tracked worldwide. In this scenario, the victim
Biggie the
would
Tank
at some
Engine,
point
yeah!
get a notification that they're being tracked. But I don't know about you, if I got a notification that my own device was tracking me, I'd probably just assume it was some bug and totally ignore it.
I'm just gonna say, in regards to me always going for wired earphones as a preference, Vindication!
Getting to the part of the video now where I usually reveal that this has all been patched and we collectively breathe a sigh of relief, but not so fast. The only way to fix this is to install a software update issued by your headphones manufacturer. This of course relies on the manufacturer actually issuing a fix, and that consumers go out of their way to figure out how to update their headphones firmware, which is unfortunately a lot to ask. It's inevitable that—
Did my sound get gated when I did that?
Many,
Yeah,
if not most,
I kinda
vulnerable
figured as
audio
much.
devices will never receive a patch. The researchers made a handy website where you can check if your headphones are vulnerable, but they could only test a very small handful of devices, so don't count on an extensive list here. Google says that there's no evidence that this has been actively exploited in the wild, but this hack quite literally only became public knowledge yesterday. And whilst the researchers haven't released their proof of concept scripts, it's only a matter of time before someone replicates this. The Belgian researchers were awarded a bounty of $15,000 by
Makes it
Google,
you
and I'll make
download
sure
an app, so you download it. Ew. You have to download an app for you.
their full reports down below. Next up, Logitech screwed up and killed millions of peripherals worldwide. It happened on January 6th at precisely 8:39 PM. Buttons on mice stopped working, scroll wheels stopped scrolling, and my MX Master's fancy
How the hell did that happen?
button thing, which brings up a ring of
You're not gonna betray me, will you?
to macros, stopped responding. Left and right click did keep working and you could still move the cursor around, but quite literally everything else broke. Even basic things like my DPI settings were totally wiped. It was a similar story with keyboards, all custom functionality just died, and my MX Creative Console lost 100% of its functionality and just became an expensive fidget toy. The problem? Logitech's entire lineup uses Logi Options Plus to handle everything from adjusting DPI to creating complex multi-step macros. But the app
Oh, that's why it never affected me, because I have it on Linux and I'm literally just plugging it in. Like, I went to the Windows device to pair it to the Power Play mat, and I've never had it touch Logitech software since. So that totally makes sense why. But it kind of speaks to the problem that we have, that a lot of these devices depend on software that should be baked into the hardware. Like this keyboard right here, this System 76, launch heavy keyboard. Uses QEMK, all the macros and everything. Got the hiccups. They are going to be on that actual keyboard's firmware. Some of the USB-C wired-in ear headphones are actually good. I like mine. Yeah, I still like mine. The headphone jack is king. I bought Anker Bluetooth because I'm lazy. I only like Anker for power products. Everything else Anker has been kind of meh. I have a Bluetooth speaker from theirs, but I didn't buy it. They sent me it for a review. It's my backup speaker for my JBL that's in my shower. The JBL speaker is the only Bluetooth speaker I really have. Besides this little one from Proofpoint that they sent me, but that just stays here because it's got all the LGBTs. Your thoughts on Wi-Fi enabled home appliances? I hate them. I hate the idea of Wi-Fi enabled home appliances. The reason why is I want you to sit there and think about how long you buy an appliance to last on average. About a decade. Maybe at most 5 years. Do you think that appliance is going to get software updates when security issues come out for that long? No.
stopped responding.
Oh, and on that point, anything that I do have in an IoT is in their own VLAN, on their own SSID, completely firewalled from the rest of the network.
Stuck in an infinite loading loop. Worldwide, everyone using Logitech gear on macOS had just had their peripherals bricked. The root of the problem is that macOS requires developers sign their code with a certificate. This proves that
Wait, was this a Mac-specific thing? Mac users.
compiled by them and that the software hasn't been modified by some hacker. But for security reasons, these certificates expire after exactly 5 years and 1 day. No big deal, issuing a new certificate is only a 5-minute job, but for whatever reason, Logitech totally forgot about it. So on January 6th, at precisely 41 seconds past 8:39 PM, it expired, causing the app to become untrusted, stopping it from opening and breaking what probably amounts to millions of peripherals worldwide. This pissed off a hell of a lot of people, and to a much greater extent than you might imagine, especially because before realising that this was a global issue, many of us assumed that the problem was on our end, and spent a stupid amount of time trying to fix the damn thing. But by troubleshooting, we only made the problem worse. By reinstalling Logi options, you're deleting all of your custom settings, basic things like DPI and button functionality, but worse, all the custom macros you set up, whether that's
Software should be in hardware and should require PC software. These Bluetooth earbuds are fantastic. Do they have that Apple the Google Fast Pair? We'll rickroll you later. Sub video code. Just set up my Dell 740 XD. Holy moly, on 30%. The fans are still defending. What do you mean the fans are still defending? Do you mean like they're loud? I don't know what you mean exactly. I just block all the shit from the cloud.
macro keypads or the actions ring. And for the macro enjoyers out
If they're loud, I mean, your best solution is really, you can try putting some better thermal paste, but that's only gonna, like, lower your CPU just a little bit, but that's not gonna fix the problem. You're gonna need a cooling pad. There's pads you can sit your laptop on. So basically what you need to do is you need to make sure there's airflow to the laptop. So what you can do is you can at least get a cooling pad. I have this wooden stand that I put on my bed with my laptop, so it's at least off the sheets, but it can breathe around it. So if you're sitting it down on like fabric or stuff, oh, it's a 2U server. Thought it was a laptop. Sorry. Brain fart. Yeah, 2U. You're effed there, buddy. So the problem is with rack mount servers is they got tiny fans and they're designed to like blow like jet turbines. Like you can't hear it, but I can still kind of hear my network rack from around the corner. So, yeah. ADV CPU and 192 gigabytes UCC, 8,000 RPM. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do too much about that, buddy. Welcome to the world of rack mount servers.
You guys can appreciate just
Earplugs
how
may
much
help.
time goes into setting macros up. Depending on what application you're using, macros can get really pretty complex. It's the kind of toolkit you build over months, if not years. But losing your settings really shouldn't be a problem. Logitech makes a big deal of their cloud backup feature, which keeps a copy of everything. However, when Logi options came back online the next day, some people found that before they had a chance to even restore from their backup, that backup had already been overwritten with a set of blank settings from when they reinstalled the app.
Oh God,
This is coming from
Logitech.
the industry leader in productivity peripherals, by the way. And for my MX Creative keypad, which would really benefit from a cloud backup feature, that doesn't exist at all. There's just no restore
What's my
option.
throw around
Of course,
laptop?
Logitech does.
I've got two. So I've got my System 76 Pangolin, which usually has Parrot OS, and then I have the Lenovo IdeaPad, little Core i3, 12 gigabyte laptop that's currently running Windows 11 Enterprise. That's what I'm using for school. Because WGU requires you to install, what is it called, the Guardian browser or something like that. It's basically a rootkit. It's like kernel level access for a browser to make sure you're not cheating. And ain't no way I'm putting that on any other computer.
Make it clear that this is their only device that doesn't have cloud backups. But somehow I got lucky. There was some config file somewhere that I didn't delete in my troubleshooting, and my settings were totally intact. But it doesn't change the fact that I feel like a total idiot for dumping a few hundred doubloons on hardware that can be rendered useless by some proprietary software not loading. And I can't even blame Apple for this. An expired certificate doesn't automatically mean that software
Logitech
stops
G903,
working, because if the
Logitech
code was compiled
G502,
before the expiration
never
date, it'll run
frickin' need
perfectly
their
fine,
software.
unless it's packed with cloud functionality, like for example it uses Apple's push notifications, which Logi Options does for some stupid reason. The Logitech reps on Reddit were profusely apologetic and really absorbed a lot of the hate here. But if you're going peripheral shopping anytime soon, really think twice before buying Logitech.
For their mice, they're still pretty great. I do like Logitech mice. I mean, I'm still rocking one right here. The Logitech G502 is still my go-to mouse whenever it comes to, hey, I just need a mouse to go throw on something. The G502 is my go-to. Now, on my desktop here, I have the Logitech G903, which has the power play mat on top of it, so it's always wireless and charging.
Next up, security researchers have identified a design flaw in Telegram, which with a single click...
So trackballs are nice. I do like a trackball. This is my Ploopy. This is an open source mouse that you can 3D print. It is made of 3 different 3D printed pieces. Actually, there's the dowel rods in there, and there's ball bearings in there. This is from a snooker set. I had to go on Etsy and find a vintage set because I found out, hey, this actually just fits. So, like, an 8-ball just seems like perfect. I actually have the rest of the set there. I literally just bought it for the ball. But I picked that up for like 30, 40 bucks for the entire set. I think there's like 15 of them. Anyway, there's a cup in there, there's a sensor, and I think this can do it for like 10,000 DPI. It's QEMK firmware on here, so it's completely reprogrammable with the USB-C connection over here. And I have it right on the streaming PC because I have very limited space over here for the streaming PC. Like, there's like no room. It's like desktop, printer for receipts, like when anyone subs or cheers or anything like that, keyboard, Ploopy mouse, mixer. Like, it's yeah. Oh yeah, the Ploopy, this is the I forgot, the Ploopy Adept or something like that. This Ploopy mouse is really nice. Ploopy has some really good mice, I will have to say. I like the fact that I could 3D print it. So if you notice, I put this 2-color tone here. So all that is this, the base I 3D printed here, and then the top piece, I did a 2-tone color shift. So when you print it, you actually print it like that. And then I added some feet to it as well, so it wouldn't slide as much. But yeah, I've really been liking this mouse a lot. I'm very happy with it because I was looking for a trackball for less space, and I'm like, let's lean more toward open source whenever we can.
Your IP address to an attacker. As soon as you tap on what looks like a regular link to some Telegram profile, an attacker-controlled server is instantly pinged with your IP, and there's no way to tell that this seemingly innocent link is really just an IP grabber in disguise. This is made possible by a little-known feature in Telegram.
This is why I freaking hate Telegram. I've never really cared for Telegram.
That allows you to share proxy server settings. Useful if you live in a country that does censorship, so you don't have to manually type out a bunch of settings. But it's possible to embed these links within any arbitrary username, disguising it as just some link to a profile. After tapping one of these links on either Android or iOS, you'll be asked if you want to connect to the proxy, but by this point it's already too late, because as soon as this prompt appears, a test connection has already been made in the background to make sure that the proxy is valid, leaking your IP before you even have a chance to review the settings.
Wow, that's a lot of ports that's running.
If you already have Telegram configured to work with a proxy, this totally bypasses that. And sure, in most cases, some stranger on the internet grabbing your IP ain't so much of a big deal, but let's not forget the context here. Telegram is still a bit of a Wild West. All kinds of cybercriminal groups have made a home on Telegram, so you could see some kind of a scenario where feds spin up a proxy server using these links to grab IPs before paying people a home visit. But as far as we know, it was security researchers who figured out how to abuse this feature first. Telegram themselves have had a strange response to this, getting a bit defensive whilst still agreeing to fix the problem anyway.
I've really not cared for Telegram. Like, just the app, the organization, everything behind it. They've really been dropping the ball for a lot of different things. And what cracks me up is the amount of people that are out there that keep saying Telegram's a rather secure app. And I have to keep telling people, no, Telegram is private, but it's not secure. You can be private without security. You can be secure without privacy. You can be private and secure, or you can be neither of them. It's really not that secure. And, people are like, well, it has encryption. Well, the encryption is optional, and it only works on a one-to-one basis. The second you have a group chat, there's no encryption. Signal is still my preferred app. Yes, I know some people are going to be like, well, what about Session? Here's the reality. If you go around at DEF CON, most people are going to have Signal. That's just how it is. The average person maybe has WhatsApp, but the average cybersecurity person has Signal. Is Discord secure? No, it's not. It doesn't have encryption. Now, when you're in voice chat, they do have this new encryption protocol called Dave, which works rather well. And then there's a way that you can use a code that cycles through every time someone joins or leaves to make sure that the chat is, still rather trusted. But yeah, a lot of people do organize on Discord. I'm on Discord, but there are a lot of times, like one of my mods, I had to have them send over some sensitive information. I was like, okay, get on Signal. We'll transmit this back and forth. We had to transmit some documents back and forth. And I will not do that over Discord. Signal, I will. Now, Signal is not secure in the sense of government secrets. I've made an entire couple-hour video going in about that with the whole Signalgate crisis. But the long and short of it is, at the nation-state level, the Signal is secure for an everyday user like you and me, everyone in this chat. It's fine for you. But I would not conduct official business on it, because it doesn't have identity and access management, so there's no way you can actually verify who they say they are, that they are verified to have access to the things that they should. Case in point, they added a journalist to a Signal group chat. That's why it's not secure in that case. It is secure in terms of the communications being sent, but if you can't verify all the people on the chat are actually supposed to be allowed to be there and rescind access when, you remove their access, like when you're at a job and they take away all your permissions from your computer at one time, that kind of thing. Isn't that just glorified IRC? What, Discord? Yeah, Discord is just glorified IRC, basically. You're not wrong about that. It's IRC with extra steps. What about Matrix? Well, Matrix is a little bit different, because you can host your own server, you can do encrypted chat rooms and stuff like that. So it's like a good mix of privacy and security, depending on how you want to go with it. How about wire messaging app from Europe? I haven't played with that one, but yeah.
They pointed out that any website or proxy owner can see the IPs of those who access it regardless of the platform. And sure, that's correct, they're not wrong, but that kind of misses the point. When you tap a link, not even an external link, but an internal link to someone's profile, you expect to be taken to that person's profile, not to have your IP pinged to some arbitrary server. Either way, Telegram are adding warnings to these links, so from here on out you do have a chance to nope out. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.
It's kind of funny I would recommend the video for me while I'm on stream here. Okay. Got a friend that was messaging me about a game that they're making, and they wanted some people to test it out. Sorry. So let me see, where were we with the next video over here? I lost my place. Oh, there we are. Plate privacy. So HBX sent this over in the Discord. Safeguarding your moments from mass surveillance. So what is this? Plateprivacy.com. Oh, about automatic license plate readers. Okay. Got that. What are automatic license reader cameras? Okay. So what is... Okay, we fight back. Part of our project on the Fourth Amendment, the Institute for Justice, IJ, is challenging the government's arbitrary power to use ALPRs to surveil the entire driving public in court, helping activists push back against deployment of license plate readers. So license plate readers are... It's one of those things that, you know, I'm kind of torn on. Here's the reason why. Everyone has a license plate, right? But when you're in public, which your car is, you have no guaranteed or implied right of privacy. So, I'm kind of torn on that one. I mean, I've been thinking about doing an ALPR in my own house, so that way I can, you know, just take track of anybody that comes to the house for any single reason. But yeah. All right. All right. Next video over here. Nothing CEO reacts the hard critic of his phone. Okay, so the Nothing CEO has been kind of interesting. Even though I don't have a Nothing phone, I'm not a hater of the Nothing phone. I just don't have a Nothing phone. I'd like to play with them eventually, but I hear they have a good rep. I want an ALPR just because I like license plates. Abby, if we didn't already know that you were on the spectrum, we would think you're on the spectrum. There's a lot of shit that you're into, and when we hung out at DEF CON, there is, like, no way anyone could deny that you are on the spectrum with some of the things you're into. Don't get me wrong, I love you, buddy. I'm speaking from one person on the spectrum to the other. I've experimented with the Fairphone. I have not. Unfortunately, as much as I want to play with a lot of different devices, I don't have the funds to play on all the devices I would like to play with, which is one reason why I would love my content to be more profitable, is because I would like to be able to buy more hardware to do the things and go to different conventions. Like, I would love to go to Computex. I would love to go to CES. I would love to go to the Chaos Communication Congress. I would love to go to, you know, multiple B-sides and, Wild West Hackers and, you know, Cactus Con and all these other cybersecurity conferences that all my buddies talk about, and get all this other hardware to play with. Maybe one day it'll happen, but one day. One day. One day. One day. One day. All right, let's see what the Nothing CEO says about this critique of his phone.
Seriously.
I should have known it was Linus Sebastian! Okay.
How does this thing even wirelessly charge with, like... Oh, do they not have wireless charging? That's a downer. Yep. No coils.
Okay.
We're just trying to create a really good product and a really balanced product, so there's going to be trade-offs. And based on our understanding of the user at this price point, wireless charging is not super popular. I think
I think he's right. Because I have an iPhone. I have wireless charging on this phone, obviously. I can count on one hand the number of times I have wirelessly charged this phone. And several of those times were because I was dating a girl, I was staying over at her house, and I didn't have a charger. All she had was a wireless charger. That was the only reason why. And I presume, chat, you're going to have to correct me on this, the phone that he's referring to is probably a mid or low range phone that they have, not the super flagship one. But yeah. Had my phone 3 years. I've used wireless charging just once. And it was because my sister had one and I was at her place. See? That's usually the case of people that actually will use wireless charging and care about it, is the majority of us are like, crap, I need a charger. And the one person that happens to have a charger, it's only wireless.
Be using flagship products as a daily carry. I think as a reviewer, you have to try and step out of your personal day-to-day and try and put yourself in the shoes of the person that might buy the product and try and deliver a review based on how that person might experience it. Because I think, when people watch reviews for a product, they're definitely interested in that product. They would potentially buy the product and then they would see whether...
Man, seriously.
You know what? That is a very fair take. That is a very fair take. Now, I know most CEOs would be like, defensive of their product, but I think what he's saying right there, and I'm not saying this to hate on LTT, although in this case I am hating on LTT, Linus needs to remember the target customer of the product and think about how the target product user and the target consumer of said product will actually want to use said product. My phone's here. Okay, like I said, there's wireless charging. I have the Pine Power, okay? I have the Pine Power. If you don't know what that is, that's a little, I can't really bring it out because the cord's too short, but, there's, 5 USB connections there and wireless charging on top. I have never used the wireless charging. It is an option there. But what am I doing right now? I'm charging it with USB-C. Most people are going to use a cord. And to complain that a phone doesn't have wireless charging, especially if as he's saying, it's not a flagship product. If it were a flagship product, then okay, you could, knock it and say, hey, we paid $900 for a phone. Why don't we have wireless charging? Fair enough. But in this case, it's not a flagship product. It's built probably more for the average everyday user. I don't know specifically what phone he has, but going off of what he's saying, it's not a flagship. It's probably a mid-range or even low-end device. And that's one of the complaints that I've had with Linus Tech Tips for a while is I think he's completely forgotten his roots and his place from when he was at NCIX and completely forgets the average everyday user. One, what devices they're willing to budget for. Two, how they actually use their devices. Come to think of it, I don't think I've known of, more than, a couple of people that actually use, wireless charging. Only used it when my port broke on my 11. See, fair enough, that's another reason I've heard that used for wireless charging. LTT is snob bunny, so his views are that of a tech snob. Fair enough. I have 2 wireless chargers just in case I get wireless-only stuff. Fair enough take, too. But that's one thing that I always try to take whenever I'm reviewing a product, is I try to remove myself from it and try to say, all right, who is the intended customer here? How would they think about it? Now, this is where I have some complaints again. The difference where I've said for a lot of times, my issue with Linus is that he never really had to professionally work in IT or cybersecurity to be able to understand how to service the customer. He did work at NCIX, I know that, which is like the Micro Center equivalent of Canada back in the day, but he didn't really do that long enough to really understand customer service and learning to understand the customer's needs and providing the service that they need and the hardware that they need to fit the goals that they're desiring. And he kind of has lost touch with the things that actually made him great. Because back in the day, he used to be very grounded with a lot of his approaches on technology and stuff. But I think he's really lost his way. And that's where I think a lot of people are getting upset with him. And this is another case. But anyway, enough of that. Okay, what did you get, Vampire? Every time you put a video, I am worried. Oh, this is Schedule 1. I like Schedule 1. We should play more Schedule 1.
You know what? The life of crime ain't that bad. I understand, Mr. Walter White. I understand the appeal now.
I did a lot of fun things in college. Things that I'm thankful for the statute of limitations being over.
Science. Science is fun.
You know what?
One of these days, I might actually let you in on things, but not while TikTok is streaming. I've been banned enough. Okay, so what is this? Minecraft is going to require age verification for social features? What? Why? Oh, this has to do with the UK Online Safety Act, doesn't it? I like wireless charging. It does not wear down the USB-C port, but I don't think that many use the feature. Yeah. Look, I'm not hating on wireless charging. I'm saying that the majority of people don't use wireless charging. It's a nice to have, but in most people's minds, it's not a need to have.
Hello, I'm APX and bad news, the answer to this question is yes, because a Mojang spokesperson has just confirmed that starting in February as part of our
Called it! UK Online Safety Act.
Our compliance program for the UK Online Safety Act, and to ensure we're continuing to provide safe and age-appropriate experiences for our players, all Minecraft players in the UK with adult accounts will be required to verify their age as at least 18 years old. Accounts that do not complete the age verification process will have limited access to social features. This is something you understandably have a lot of questions about, and so let's go into all of those today.
This is bullshit! What the hell? Did we not see thousands of people get their data leaked, their PII leaked, because they had to verify themselves with Discord? And then there was this whole thing about Nexus mods. Then they, like, why? Why are we having to infantilize adults and make them prove that they are not kids because parents can't fucking parent their kids? I am not, look, I understand kids may come across some content, that parents don't approve of, but guess what? Fuck them kids. They ain't my kid. Now fuck off with this shit.
This is Q&A Saturday, your weekly series where we answer all of the big Minecraft questions. And this week, there are big questions about Fortnite and Hightail, but of course the big one is, what is the deal with this age verification? Well, if you live in one of the regions of the world which requires this, it's not just the UK, that's just the biggest one, then what is going to start happening is you will need to verify your age, and if you do not do so, you will lose access to certain Minecraft social features. Now, what exactly those features are haven't been clarified, because all Minecraft are doing here are jumping aboard the Xbox bandwagon. They've been talking about this for a while, as indeed Ellie points out here, although it is very ridiculous because, as he says, I've had my Xbox account since 2008 and I've bought Minecraft since 2011, so if they can't work out that I'm at least 18, assuming I bought Minecraft when I was free, then I think that they're doing something a little wrong. But no, instead of this being the case, you are going to lose access to some unknown amount of social features. On Xbox, they've clarified that the way it works is you'll still be able to play with Xbox friends. You'll be limited to friends only for voice and text, party functionality and game invites, as well as user-generated content, and you...
This is more of a reason why you need to go back to PC and just go do PC gaming on servers that we can control, because we can avoid this shit. The only reason this has to happen is because it's on centralized servers. If you run your own shit, you don't have to deal with this. This is such bullshit, though. I know I've said it before. It is bull. Like that. I don't like this. I don't like this. We are in the bad place.
Be able to use it all looking for groups or custom clubs. I assume the Minecraft equivalent is you'd only be able to join friends in their games. You'd have to add someone first before joining their game, and that sort of feature. It hasn't been clarified though, because Minecraft have not made the official announcement besides this one from the spokesperson, which means that all we know is you will need to verify your age, and just having an account for 18 years doesn't count as making you 18. And so what do you need to do? Well, you need to...
Hold up, you can have your account for 18 years and they still can't figure out that you're older than 18? Why?
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yoti. Yoti is our trusted age verification partner. They provide secure, privacy-first verification services used across gaming, social media, and e-commerce experiences. Now, the good side of that is that your service, be that social media, or in this case Xbox and Minecraft, are not going to see your government ID or your selfie directly, and instead they'll just get a thumbs up from Yoti, basically. But the downside of this is that when it comes to third-party verification, you are now trusting another party with your data, and the concern around this is that we've saw, for example, with Discord, 70,000
I just talked about this earlier.
issued IDs were leaked that were used for age verification processes. That did happen last year, and there's always a chance of this going down. And so what I would say is the Electronic Frontier Foundation has a pretty clear ruling on this that, unfortunately...
Before we go further, since we mentioned the Electronic Frontier Foundation, they are one of my favorite all-time nonprofits. I'm not affiliated with them, but if you do have a moment and you do have a few bucks to spare, please go donate to them. They fight for all of our digital rights. They are the most powerful they're the most powerful organization to lobby for our digital rights. They even fund projects like the Tor Foundation. They also worked on Ray Hunter to detect stingrays. So that the device you saw me make where I was tracking down stingrays, they were the makers of that. I gladly am giving them money every year. I am a gold member of theirs. I have a membership with them. I buy their t-shirts every time I go to DEF CON, even though, they're a little bit expensive, but that profit goes purely to their, needs and everything. So, yeah, go support the Electronic Frontier Foundation. That's EFF.org. That is Echo Foxtrot.org.
It should be clear by now that none of the age verification options are perfect in terms of protecting information, providing access to everyone, and safely handling sensitive data, which is just one of the reasons the EFS is against age gating mandates and is working to stop and overturn them across the United States and around the world. Indeed, this is a dark corner. For me, this is just like, it goes against the internet I believe in. I'm not going to be handing my data over to Xbox. I'm sorry, you can't have my government ID. That's not for you. That's not what I'll be using to play my video games. And so what will happen to my account is unclear right now. I don't blame anyone who just says, look, I'll give them a selfie. What are they going to do with that? If that is for you, then totally fine. I think that is the fastest way forward. I do think that this being required sucks, but also you can't really blame Mojang. You can blame the UK government and other governments around the world.
I don't blame Mojang. I don't blame Microsoft even in this
case. The reason that had to be put into place is because of how social media decided to run itself. And then we could go a step further and say, well, the only reason that social media was ever a bad place for under 18s is because their parents weren't monitoring them when they're on it, right? They were just leaving them and saying, thank God they're leaving me alone. And so who do I really think is going to be saved here? Well, hopefully some number of children will now be exposed to less bad things. I do think that is...
They won't. They won't be exposed to less bad things. Trust me. I grew up with the Pain Olympics. I grew up with, Blue Waffles. Chat, share with me your most traumatic experiences on the internet that you've gone through. There was the Pain Olympics. There was 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Tub Girl. Yeah, Tub Girl. Yeah, we found the bad stuff before social media. Tub Girl wasn't traumatic. Let's see. There was a lot of things. It was Goatsy. Goatsy, y'all remember that? Happy Tree Friends. Oh, Happy Tree Friends. Good memories. Good memories. But yeah, this is, bullshit. And once again, F them kids.
I hate to say it because, protecting children is used to curtail so many rights, I think. But I do hate to say that I do think that it is probably good for the, some number of children's internet experience. But I think that there are much better ways to do it than this. And I think that it's a real shame that it's come to this. But yeah, I shan't.
It's not good for any of them. That's, the reality is, look. Parents need to have the conversation with their kids about there are things on the internet that they should, be worried about. You need to be open with them. I think the worst thing that you can do for kids is hide them away from the world. Now, I'm not saying, immediately 3 years old, hey, you know that there's, a whole world out there and there's mass murder and here's what a serial killer's like. No, you got to ease them into them and give them a realistic, small dose of reality of what the world's actually like. But the problem is most parents don't do that. I was fortunate enough to have parents that were actually rather involved. My mother, I've said this before, was a sex ed teacher. I had the talk all that. She was very upfront with me, and she even said, look, I don't want you getting a girl pregnant, but I'm not going to stop you from, because that's a natural thing. You're going to want to do it. Just if you do it, wrap your tool, because if you bring home a pregnant girl, I'm going to be standing by the doorway with a coat hanger. She literally said that to me, by the way. Two girls, one cup wasn't that bad. That was half a joke. I've seen worse, remember. Oh, yeah, there's been a lot worse on the internet. There's probably some stuff that I've created black spots in my memory for, so that's to block it out.
Providing my ID. I'll give you an update when this comes into effect, because I'm curious as to what social features will go missing from my account. I'm curious to see how that looks and everything, so we'll see how that does go. But in the meantime, let's get back to the video, because as you probably are aware at this point, Hytale came out this week. It's a game, I don't know if you've heard of it, Hytale, but apparently it's a game that looks like Minecraft and Fortnite, and that's the reason Control-Shift-C does not like it. But to control...
Is that a good way to put it, Vampire? Because I know you've been hyped up about this game for a while. Is that a good way to put it? Sup, Just Dev? How's it going, buddy? You missed me having a freak out over parents not parenting. I'll make sure to leave a mark on this video for you so you can come back. That reminds me, I was at school and they showed a human brain and a rat brain IRL. Why'd they have a human brain? Did your teacher become a serial killer like Dexter and then be like, hey, this is your brain. Comes over the pan. Now this is your brain on drugs. Don't do drugs. And everyone's just traumatized there because they see an actual brain get splattered. No? Anyway.
V here, to go the opposite of you, I'm going to say that the Minecraft and Fortnite vibe is surprisingly appealing, and the reason I know it's appealing is because of this leak. You might have seen this show up on Reddit, it got a lot of upvotes, and it always annoys me when people talk about something like this by being, look, I saw a post about this by just...
But then again, I've never really wanted to play it because they,
and an image of the Fortnite
kernel
logo.
level anti-cheat.
That's not how
crap.
proof works. So, if you're curious, the proof behind this is from Adira, who says, rumor, there is info...
No, it was a frozen brain from human testing. No, what it really was your teachers were a serial killer and they just were a cannibal as well, and they wanted a human popsicle. I'm currently fixing siren audio hash assignments in my game because I changed the siren audio packs.
Craft is in development. If this collab comes, it is not for many months, and it is possible for a Chapter 7. Adira does seem like they are a commonly known Fortnite leaker, and they do seem to have a decent reputation rate, but even they say that they learn all info slowly with many sources, and they only share if they are 90%.
It accidentally came with the meat shipment.
There is, in their view, at least a 90%
Fortnite
chance
now is more of an engine. They have a lot of alternate games.
7.
Interesting.
And so, is that going to happen? I would be fascinated if so. I would love to play Minecraft and Fortnite, not because I like Fortnite, but because I like Minecraft and would be. I think Lego Fortnite was a lot of fun. Although, for what it's worth, a lot of people have made that negative comparison. Like, so far, it looks like Hytale will fall off within 2 weeks, just like how Lego Fortnite did. Oh, man, do you remember actually? Yeah, that was like a big commit. A lot of people are like, yeah, Lego Fortnite is my game. This is the only one I'm playing from now on. Like, maybe some of those people are still playing, but the majority are like, yeah, I don't think I've loaded that up in a long time. I think this is a big problem with games inside of a game, and so I would say, actually, let's not pretend that Hytale is that yet. It might be, but Hytale did just wake up from a multi-year coma, so let's let it have the spotlight, let's see what it does of it, and let's see if they can make that sustainable long-term game that is more like the Fortnite than the Lego Fortnite, that is more like the Minecraft than the, I don't know, Realism Craft, which, sorry, RL Craft is the better example, which got an update, but which sadly is always going to lose interest compared to the main thing, which I think is kind of sad. Speaking of kind of sad, let's go on to the opposite of that, because Josh Jones says Toycat single-handedly getting us the victor's coat by mining 4.25 billion stone blocks for the subway tunnel, and you know what is fun? I actually did mine the better part of 50,000 stone blocks just for the big pyramid that I'm making, actually finishing making it for today. It's the last day you can get the IBX Toycat Creo card. That's right,
is
there's
that?
no more extensions possible. After today, we will start the process of signing them and shipping them and all that stuff. So if you would like to get your hands on one, creocards.com/IBXToycat.
The hell's a
and I'll
Creo
be finishing the
card?
pyramid at the same time. But yeah,
So much random
first point
shit
to
out
it
there.
is that yes, we now have confirmation that we did win the Minecraft challenge. So this is crazy because, like I've clarified before, I don't know, we can't see any progress on these challenges, and every single one of them has been won so far. And so is it that we're actually doing these, or do we get close enough and Mojang says, yeah, sure? I don't know for sure if we even win it by a lot. But either way, if you mined a single stone or killed a single mob last weekend, then you have your hands on this. If you didn't do that, then clearly you missed my Q&A Saturday, and consider subscribing with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on fun cosmetics like that. But speaking of
I
cosmetics...
never got that into Minecraft, but I don't know. Maybe I just missed that. I have Minecraft. I've done a little bit. I've played with a couple of friends, but it's just never been, like, my thing.
Wait. Did they finally put the settings menu back where it belongs and then put add-ons below it? If so, then yay, Minecraft, Microsharp, what is that even? Finally cares about players' feedback again. And yes, as of the next update,
I think they're probably
26.0,
calling it that because
you'll actually
Microsoft
find that
owns
the
them
settings
now.
button and the add-ons button can exist side by side rather than going back to the old. You know, for some reason, Minecraft figured, you know what players would really love if hitting settings was a tiny button, but there was a giant buy things button at all time. And that's something I'm glad they've
Minecraft
taken
could never
steps
hook
to
me,
remedy.
but I am
think
enjoying
the new
Hytale.
UI in general is a really good
I
sign.
hear good
and
things.
Sale said, wait, did these people
I know a
steal
few
that
people
UI
in the
design
server
from
have
DCUI
been
by
into it.
It's3O, or did they hire
Maybe
the
when they
guys
have an
from
actual,
DCUI?
like,
So I hadn't heard of this,
server
but
that we
DCUI
can
is
host, I might look at getting into it.
Downloads for Bedrock, so give some real credit here. Well, actually, is this for Bedrock? It is for Bedrock. But this is a pack that has 500,000 downloads, and it actually does kind of look similar. However, as it turns out, those 500,000 downloads were in the last 6 months, and Ore UI, again, as crazy as this to say, the Ore UI, the UI that is now about half done, has actually been in development for 3 and a bit years. Well, it's been in its current development for 3 and a bit years. It's actually been in development of some form for closer to 8, and that is ridiculous, yes, but that's the fun thing about Minecraft UI design. In the year of 2029, if things go well, we'll finally have that UI, and they'll be... honestly, I would recommend getting yourself a third-party
Looking
UI
for
if you want to
content
enjoy
limited,
it.
but
And so
decent
is
bones for
this UI a good
sandbox
one? Well,
exploration.
according to one comment...
Well, I heard it's still
yes.
early days for Hytale,
Speaking
so...
of comments saying yes, I want to go...
I do have to say that one of the issues that I have with early release games is they're not fully releasing games and then you're paying for it on the hopes that the game's going to be created.
Never mind, it's Toycat. And I just wanted to correct this because I think I jokingly said use code Toycat because I won't get anything, but that seems to have confused some people. So here was my opinion. I wanted to give you my real take on the game, and the only way for that to be truly unbiased and free of conflict of interest, you know, the honesty vibe that I really think is important for this channel, the only way I could do that is if I didn't have a creator code. If I signed up for one before the game even launched and we knew what it was, I would be getting a commission, a cut, an incentive to sell you on a game that I didn't know if it was good. We can talk about screenshots all we like, but now
That's a fair enough take.
here, I do think it is, better than expected. I think it's got some weak areas it really needs to improve on, but now that it's out here, I think it's fine, and I will totally apply for a code, for all the microtransactions and stuff. And sure, that means I lost out on revenue, and in a way, that's a privilege to be able to do that just to make more honest content, but I think that it's the most important thing. I think that if I have such a clear conflict of interest that I say...
there's a whole
"So
code
how
there
good
for
is
you to
this
actually
game?"
make money
Before
on,
immediately saying, by the
that.
way, I'll make money if you buy it, so I have an
Interesting.
interest in saying it's great. That just didn't sit right with me. On the day that it came out, every Minecraft streamer was playing Hytale, and something like 30% of them were saying, this is the Minecraft killer, and I think that opinion
this is,
can't be taken seriously
IBX
if you have a
Toycat.
serious interest in it
My
being
mod
there.
sent me
If
this
you're curious,
video.
Hytale codes give you 5% of the sales price if someone buys it, so that only works out to like $1 per sale, but given we've seen somewhere in the millions of copies sold, no doubt there are some creators who have, done pretty well from that. But I think personally that's fine as long as you aren't going to try and then be a real authority on whether you should buy it. And I think that some people actually do come to this channel to get a real vibe of like, is this good? Is that bad? For example, is it actually worth mining a block last weekend? I think the answer was yes. Is it worth verifying your ID? I think the answer is certainly no for now until we see how this one goes. Is it worth, going into the next update? Is it going to be a good one? Well, we find out every single Tuesday when there's an interesting beta that releases. That is a part of what this channel is about, and maybe it's a weird part, maybe it's a silly part, maybe, the honesty is not as important as the flashiness that some people choose, but it is the value that is important to me. And with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you tomorrow for some GeoGuessr, but in Minecraft. We really did decide to do it, and I think it went incredibly fun. So it'll be like a fun Seed Sunday replacement.
Okay. So yeah, Minecraft requiring IDs, bullshit. What's this? Why Hightail is the future of D&D. Okay. You're getting really into Hightail, aren't you, Vampire?
Right now, D&D players have to choose. Easy but ugly tools like Roll20, or beautiful but expensive tools like Tailspire. But what if I told you Hightail, which just launched today, might be the bridge between them? Look at this tweet from the developers. Years ago, they polled the community about tabletop features.
Okay.
While they didn't build a dedicated D&D mode, they acknowledged that the engine should be flexible enough to handle dice, sheets, and minis. The potential is hidden in the modding API, and now that the game is out, we can finally see if it works. To understand the weight of this release, you have to remember, Hightail wasn't a game, it was a meme. It started as a dream project by Hypixel, but after Riot Games...
So wait, I never really heard of Hightail until recently because Vampire couldn't shut up about it. Was it really like this whole, like, oh, we got this before Hightail like we did GTA 6 kind of meme? Has that been kind of the story?
We went years with barely any updates. People literally grew up, graduated college, and got married while waiting for this game. During that silence, Riot made a controversial decision. They tried to rewrite the entire game in C++. Now, if you aren't a programmer, here's why that was terrifying. The Minecraft modding community lives and breathes Java. By switching to C++, Riot was effectively building a wall that would keep 90% of the community out. It was shaping up to be a polished corporate product, but it would have lost the soul that makes modding possible.
But to be fair, Java is a blight upon society!
This is why today is so exciting. When Simon, the founder of Hypixel, bought the IP back, he didn't just release the game. He threw out years of Riot's corporate code and reverted to the original legacy engine. He gave us the Java
take a lot.
and C#
They should have done it in Rust, I agree.
Saved the modding scene before the game even launched. The biggest argument I hear against using Hightail for D&D is the perspective. It's an action RPG, I can't play D&D looking out of my character's eyes. You need a tactical view. Well, look at this. This is a mod that pulls the camera out of the player's head and hovers it directly above them. As they move, the camera tracks them perfectly, turning the game into a top-down dungeon crawler. Now, does this have a complex D&D grid yet? No. But look at what it does prove. It proves that we aren't stuck in first or third person mode. The engine allows us to change the camera angle to whatever we need. If a modder
that engine is very flexible.
Like this for a roguelike, creating a tactical mode where you look down at a battle map should be incredibly easy. The hard work is already done.
We get Minecraft mods now because they allow Java.
Hytail's engine handles dynamic colored light sources and real-time shadows. In Roll20, darkness is just a black shape covering the map. In Hightail, darkness is an actual shadow. It creates a mood you just can't get in a 2D tool. You aren't just moving a token through a spreadsheet, you are moving through a living, breathing dungeon. But getting the camera right is only half the battle. If you've ever DM'd in 3D before, you know the real nightmare isn't playing the game, it's building it. In high-fidelity tools like Tailspire, building a map is a full-time job. You are dragging and dropping every single wall, every tree, and every rock by hand.
God, that seems tedious.
You have to click 500 times. Hightail solves this by remembering its roots. It's built on blocks. This means you aren't just a set dresser, you are a world builder. You have access to world edit style tools right out of the box. Do you want a forest? You don't place trees one by one. You grab a forest brush and paint them onto the terrain in seconds. Do you want a castle? You don't stack bricks. You copy an entire fortress from a prefab menu and stamp it into the world.
Does that work?
Because the engine is procedural, you can generate infinite terrain instantly. You can carve out a cave system, fill it with lava, and build a goblin city in 10 minutes, something that would take 10 hours in any other 3D engine. This is the difference between sculpting and generating. And for a DM with limited prep time, that speed is the only thing that matters. So the visual potential is there, but for a VTT to work, it needs to handle the boring stuff too. The math. Right now, if you play in 3D tools like Tailspire or Tabletop Simulator, you usually suffer from the Alt-Tab problem. You have the beautiful 3D map on one monitor, but your character sheet is stuck on a website like D&D Beyond on the other. The game is usually just a visualizer, it doesn't actually know your stats.
Right.
This is where Hytale's engine could change the game. The developers have confirmed they are using Noesis GUI. That sounds technical, but it means modders have the tools to build a fully functional D&D character sheet that lives inside the game code, not just as
I still need to play Baldur's Gate 3.
a web overlay. Imagine this. You want to swing your sword. Instead of typing /roll or clicking a Chrome tab, you could just click attack on a custom Hytale HUD. Because the UI would be native, the game could read your strength score directly from the sheet, calculate the hit, roll the 3D dice, and apply the damage to the goblin's health bar automatically.
Interesting.
It has the potential to unify the game and the paperwork into one screen. And that is a level of integration current 3D VTTs are still struggling to
F
reach.
it and just make 2D maps.
Beyond the math
Or
and the
use Dungeon
UI,
Alchemist.
there's the biggest bottleneck
Fair
for
enough.
any DM. The content.
Seems like it's
In
very,
high-fidelity games like Tailspire, you are largely limited to the models the developers provide. If you want a
What's the
specific
word?
undead mind flayer and they haven't made one, you have to sculpt it in a 3D software like
very
Blender.
tedious.
It takes weeks of work. Hytale flips this problem on its head by officially supporting Blockbench. Blockbench is the industry standard for low poly modeling, and Hytale even released an official plugin for it. This is huge because it changes the workflow from sculpting clay to building with digital Legos. You don't
Interesting.
need to be a professional artist to make a goblin in Blockbench. You can model a custom monster, paint it, and animate it in one afternoon. The art style itself lowers the barrier to entry, meaning the community can pump out thousands of free asset packs way faster than high-fidelity competitors can. But the real power isn't just making the monster, it's how you introduce it. In a normal VTT, the DM says you hear a roar. In Hytale, the engine supports server-controlled cameras. Because the server controls the game state, a DM could theoretically set up a trigger zone. When the players walk into the boss room, the server could lock the doors, dim the lights, and force everyone's camera to snap to the ceiling where the dragon is waking up. You stop being just a narrator and start being a director. It is
Interesting.
a level of immersion that simply doesn't exist in this space right now. There is one factor we haven't talked about yet, and it's actually more important than the lighting, the code, or the UI. It's the community. Think about why so many of these 3D projects fail. They build amazing engines, but they become ghost towns. If you want a specific castle map or a specific monster, you usually have to make it yourself because the player base is too small to build a library of content.
Right.
However, Hytale has a cheat code. It shares the same DNA as the Minecraft modding community. We are talking about an army of creators who have spent the last decade building in Java and Blockbench. These people aren't starting from scratch, they are just moving next door. The day Hytale opens its modding tools, you aren't going to get 10 guys making maps. You are going to get thousands. This matters because a platform is only as good as its marketplace. Roll20 is king because it has thousands of asset packs. Hytale is the only 3D engine that has a workforce large enough to compete with that. We don't just need better tech, we need more stuff. And this is the only game that brings the army required to build it. So is Hytale the future of tabletop? Maybe, but at the end of the day, an engine like this is just a table. And a table is absolutely useless without a story to tell on it. That is exactly what this channel is for. I started here because I wanted to show you the potential of where our games are going. But from here on out, we are diving into the history, the legends, and the deep lore of the Forgotten Realms. We've built the table, now let's play. If you want to catch the first deep dive into the lore, hit subscribe and I'll see you at the...
Maybe I'll buy Hytale. Maybe. It's only like, what, $5-6? I'll say this. I'll say this. If they release a server thing that we can do, and somebody in the community wants to host a server, excuse me, I've totally wanted to do something with the community, that we have a community server of some kind of game, or several games. I'd totally help back that. Maybe we can set up a separate function to, go towards costs of hosting it or whatever. But we'll cross that bridge once we come to it. I would totally be down to do some kind of game with my community. Because as you all know, I've been doing my content primarily with the community focus being number one. First and foremost, it's always been about the community. So whatever I can do to better, embrace the community and all that, I'm game. I mean, look, I've had people meet me at DEF CON, and, I've had people meet me at IRL. I actually had one of the best compliments I had recently was one of my members of the community. I convinced them to go to my local DEF CON group. They met me IRL, and they're like, "You're just like you are online." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm not BSing you. I'm chill, I might get a little hyper from ADHD, but yeah, I'll totally love to do some kind of community stuff where we have community games. Then maybe we could do community game nights and stuff like that where we stream and do stupid shit and everything. But yeah, I'd be totally game for it. I kind of played with the idea of Minecraft, but I've never really been into Minecraft, and it's like there's so much into it, whereas Hytale, I think it's new enough that I could actually do some different stuff with that. But yeah. Have you ever checked the fix I did on Git? I did not, Mark. Could you do me a favor if you are in Discord? Drop a link. Wait. Was it a fix to my project or a fix to your thing? I'm sorry, because my brain is, I have worked on so many different things. Like, just today I was adding Olama into my LLM stuff, my stuff, fixed to my project. Oh, yeah. Which project specifically, though? Because I've had several. Was it the Twitch thing? Yeah. Yeah, I was actually working on that some more this evening. I'll show you, so I've done a complete overhaul on this entire project. The Stream Demon, which used to be Twitch and Toot. So, yeah, I completely overhauled this entire project here. It's now got an entire, GitHub actions and flows that, when I actually, go live, it now will, let me see if I can pull this up. Post to my Discord, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube, all that. These are all generated by an LLM. These are LLM, I just did the update today that it runs through Olama to post live, post through my LLM servers. Yeah. It's doing everything there. Blue Sky, all of that. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. So yeah, I've really done a lot of stuff there. But yeah, I did my best to make sure that I kept everyone's credit that, has contributed to it, even though it's completely overhauled, and I basically completely ripped out the old code, started new, for lack of a better term, and done a great job. Can help you with code, if anything. Yeah, well, I have a couple of things that I'm trying to do, enhancements on a few projects. So there's consolidate matrix alerts. I'm trying to add thread support into Stream Demon. I got a few projects now that actually could use help. BoonTube, I think. Did I have any? No, that one doesn't have any. Their Penguin Overlord, I'm going to be adding Olama into. Yomama, I'm going to be adding Olama into as well. There's Typo Sniper. I got to improve that a little bit more. That's the typo squatting tool. There's just a few things that I need to do with it. As you can see around here along a little bit more. I need to work on the machine learning side of it and other things going on. These are just some rough ideas. I have to get back into that project. There's been a lot of things, as you can see, that I've been working on. But yeah, I always appreciate the community helping out with the tinkering and the work and all that stuff. Ultimately, I want to have a good community for all of us to grow and thrive and improve each other with. Let's see. What is this video, though? Vampire has, how difficult is a prison escape? Well, I've seen the TV show Prison Break.
Difficult is a prison escape. This is a prison built in 12th century. A prisoner climbed down with a rope.
I was not prepared for it to be a song. I had to work so hard to not choke on my water. That was bad timing.
Made and got away. Single layer weakness plain to see. So they built walls and dug them out deep. Added out of barriers all around to hold them down. Prisoner numbers grew and grew. Security began to fall right through. Architects redesigned the whole place new. Cells were converted into individual rooms. These individual cells were arranged in a circle. Central tower.
Panopticon.
Guards could monitor from up on high every single eye. But at Alcatraz, the prison successfully escaped. Soaked the walls with water every day. 3 years running, concrete swelled and frayed. Steel began to rust. Walls went brittle, weak and thin. Spoons dug through and escaped. So the prison was upgraded again. And steel bars in every den.
Really?
Microwave sensors all in place. Searchlights tracking every face. Climb the fence and you'll be caught in light. Locked in their sight. How difficult is...
Vampire, what side of TikTok are you on, man? Or YouTube? What's this? So I've seen this video. It's from UFD Tech. Linux can't handle big VRAM. I remember this video. It was a massive amount of VRAM, like none of us are really going to be touching in our lifetime.
Sorry, Linux nerds, your precious operating system is incompetent. While PewDiePie's decided to go full bore into Tux's treasures, others are out here discovering the real limits of the software itself. In some supercomputers, they're finding out that there is such a thing as too much video memory. It turns out when you stuff a server with a butt ton of AMD compute cards and you get the VRAM amount over 1.5 terabytes, Linux doesn't know how to hibernate properly. Through the night-night
You actually hibernate a supercomputer? Well, there's your problem. But 1.5 terabytes, I don't even think Windows can handle that for VRAM.
It doubles the GPU memory into the system memory, and considering 2 terabytes is a limit in a lot of servers, the 1.5 on the GPU becomes 3 that needs to be stored on regular RAM, and the whole thing breaks down. Obviously, this isn't a catastrophic failure, and there are mitigations to get around this, and most servers don't regularly hibernate, but now you know not to buy graphics cards that give you more RAM than you have storage. Sorry.
What's this? Ripped Redneck just says good advice. Alright, what is this?
I gotta get rid of something fast. Should I go ahead and just... Shut up. Stop talking. Alright. Call in, leave an anonymous tip. What? Why would I? Because they're gonna go looking for it. When they're done, now you got a hole you didn't have to dig and a spot they're not gonna look again. Hey, man.
So that reminds me of a story. There was a mafia person that apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but I was told the story that a mafia person, like their dad or mom or aunt or uncle, that was talking about how they want to, you know, dig up the backyard for the tomatoes or something like that, but they didn't know if they had the energy for it. And then they called them up and saying, don't do that. That's where the body's buried. And then, of course, you know, they hear it on the prison phone. The cops come out and dig up the area, and they're like, yeah, they dug up the whole backyard, but they didn't find anything. Well, you're welcome. They needed the garden dug, exactly. Like a 9 out of 10 CVE that applies to 3 people. That guy hunts down PDFs. What, this guy? Huh. Good for him. Not all heroes wear capes. Alright, what is this? Dissolving glass and scary hydraulic fluid. Nile Red. Is this like the, like a nerd rage kind of guy that goes into chemistry and everything?
Have here.
Oh, that's why you said,
With some
oh.
extremely scary hydrofluoric acid, which is supposed to be able to dissolve glass, and this is something that I've always wanted to test out myself. I also really want to see what it can do to this generic Coke bottle, and I'll start by lowering it into a plastic container.
You turn toilet paper into moonshine. Diamonds in a soda. Are you joking with me?
Gloves, I can slowly add the hydrofluoric acid, and to be clear, working with this much of it is extremely dangerous, where if everything here were to spill on me, I would probably die a relatively slow and excruciating death. But either way, after adding all of the acid...
I could die a really slow and excruciating death, but either way...
I just have to let it sit here, and over the next several minutes, the bottle gradually turned white and started puffing out.
Interesting.
There was also some stuff that started flaking off of it, which, as far as I could tell, was mostly just insoluble calcium fluoride that was forming as the acid reacted with calcium in the glass.
Interesting.
And this told me that the acid was definitely working. The only unfortunate part was that it was forming way more junk than I expected, and I started worrying that it might eventually block the acid from getting to the glass. So, just for good measure, I decided to add some acid to the inside of the bottle and to just let everything sit here until it looked like all of the glass was gone. However,
it's science time, bitches. Everyone pay attention.
It really didn't look like too much had happened, and at this point, I kind of just gave up. So I pulled it out of the acid and washed it with a ridiculous amount of water, and this was what I was left with. Just a half-white bottle that, for the most part, still kind of looked like the original Coke bottle, and it really seemed like the hydrofluoric acid had failed, which was honestly pretty disappointing. After seeing this, I also felt that there was only one logical thing left to do, which was to just smash it, and well, it turned out that my assumption was completely wrong, and the acid had definitely worked. This was because all of the glass was actually gone, and what I thought was the bottle was instead just a very weak shell of that calcium fluoride.
Interesting.
So clearly, it was able to dissolve the glass, and in hindsight, I should have never doubted the power of hydrofluoric acid. What I have here...
Interesting. So you know what that reminds me of? There's this guy I grew up with called Nerd Rage. I don't know if you've ever seen this. Has he done any videos? He hasn't. I don't think he's done any recently. But yeah, this is like the original science channel I used to watch. And like, he would actually go through how the chemical is actually made and stuff. Like, you would learn chemistry along the way. Like, I swear to God, if this guy hasn't posted in like a year, it's probably because he's doing some Breaking Bad kind of stuff. He's been doing this for a while, as you can see. So he actually would like teach you how to make glow sticks and stuff. So.
Warning. This procedure should only be performed by or under the direct supervision of an experienced chemist. Please refer to the material safety.
This video is like almost as old as some of the people in the chat.
Greetings, fellow nerds. So far, we've made a lot of videos on glow sticks and have always used the key ingredient of TCPO, or bis-2,4,6-trichlorophenol oxalate. As promised, in this video, we're finally going to show you how to make it. Now, we like to work on large scale for dramatic effect, but since most of you attempting this will be doing it as part of a college or university course, you won't have access to that much chemical. So we'll do this on a small scale for you. If you want to make larger amounts, just scale it up. To get a sense of the size of this scale, guess how big that flask is. Okay, now let me show you. That is my hand. And this other flask is only 10 milliliters in volume, less than a tablespoon. Working at this size is cheap, but requires a steady hand.
Yeah, this is like the original like chemistry guy, so that voice probably is familiar. I'm pretty sure he uses a voice changer because some of the stuff he does is kind of sketchy.
Into detail. Okay, let's get started. Weigh out 700 milligrams of 2,4,6-trichlorophenols. Then add a tiny Teflon-coated magnetic stir bar and turn on the stirring. Now add 10 milliliters of dry toluene and stir until the trichlorophenol is completely dissolved. We use toluene dried by the sodium benzophenone method, but you can use toluene dried by molecular sieves or azeotropic distillation.
You probably think I use a voice
At this
changer.
point, I like to install a rubber septum onto the flask to prevent moisture from getting in during the cooling step, but this is optional. Okay, now get a syringe and inject 1 mole equivalent of triethylamine. I'll leave the exact calculation to you as exercise. If this trichlorophenol were
1 mole,
pure, it wouldn't change color.
It's not a lot.
But mine isn't. Some samples of trichlorophenol will even change to this reddish color. In any case, this is not a problem for this reaction, and you shouldn't be alarmed if it occurs. Okay, now place the flask into an ice bath and give it 5 minutes or so to cool down. If you're doing this on a larger scale, you should give it more time. Let me wipe off the fog here. Okay, now inject 0.5 mole equivalents of oxalo chloride. I'm using a 2 molar solution.
Like, you literally had to do so much chemistry math.
You may use pure oxalo chloride or any other dilution as long as you have the right stoichiometry. This method should be performed slowly as it produces considerable heat. I time-lapsed this video, but I actually spent 5 minutes injecting it. If you're doing this on a large scale, add the oxalo chloride drop-wise and take however long is needed to keep the temperature down. Once everything is injected and still cold, take it out of the ice bath. Doesn't seem to be fully mixed here, so give it a good shake. Let it warm back to room temperature on its own. Okay, the mixture is ready, and first thing we need to do is filter off the unreacted chemicals. Use a vacuum flask and a glass-fitted Buckner funnel, and filter by the vacuum filtration technique.
I so wanted to make glow sticks because of this guy. My parents had to say, look, you already do a lot of stupid random shit. You're not doing
and a
this.
byproduct of triethylamine hydrochloride. To separate the two, we simply add 25 milliliters of methanol, which will dissolve all the triethylamine hydrochloride, but very little of the valuable TCPO. Give it a good stir to thoroughly dissolve all the byproducts. Hold on a second here, I need to get rid of this waste. Okay, vacuum filter it. Get rid of the waste. Now with an empty vacuum flask, put the vacuum on the TCPO powder for several minutes to thoroughly dry out all the methanol. Alright, carefully scrape it out. Oh yeah, remember to retrieve the stir bar we put in earlier. Okay,
oh, this is the chemicals for glow sticks.
2,4,6 trichlorophenol oxalate, better known as TCPO. Okay, let's test our product. Get a 20 milliliter vial and add about 3 milligrams of 9,10 bisphenol anthracene.
Yeah, this is totally legal, don't worry.
Milligrams of sodium acetate or sodium salicylate. Then add 10 milliliters of ethyl acetate or diethyl phthalate. Finally, add your TCPO. Give the whole thing a good shake, then add in a few milliliters of 3% hydrogen peroxide. Let me get the lights.
Yeah, there you go.
Successful glow stick reaction using TCPO. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, rate, and comment. The primary foundation for this video was found in Professor McCaffrey's article entitled Demonstration in Chemiluminescence, found in the citation I'm displaying here. The article also details synthesis of luminol, acridinium esters, and other chemiluminescent substances in addition to TCPO. I strongly recommend anyone with a serious interest in chemiluminescence to take a look at this article.
There was a point in time I actually wanted to get into chemistry, but it was like too much organic math I'm not good at. But yeah, that was a thing. Okay, let's get at least 2 videos in. So we got this. And your speaker accidentally became a DJ. Unboxing Teenage Engineering OB4. Okay. What is this? Okay. Oh, that's fire! Oh. Yeah, I totally would rock that. Okay. One last video for the night. Salesforce admits they were wrong. Is this about the fact that they laid off a bunch of people for AI, and they're probably regretting it because they lost a lot of experienced people? Is that probably what it is? Let's find out, chat.
I love to say I told you so. I know, unlike the popular phrase,
from
I
Prime
actually
Time,
think
by
it's
the way.
hilarious when you look at something, you go, hey, this is probably a bad idea. And then a couple of months later, it turns out, yes, it was actually a horrible idea. But you know what's even better? Is not only do you get to say I told you so, you also get to add a little bit of tinfoil hat prediction to the end of this, okay? So I hope everybody's buckled up and ready because we're going to be getting the tinfoil hat out here shortly.
I haven't had a good tinfoil hat since I was at DEF CON for the tinfoil hat making competition. That's not a joke. There actually is a tinfoil hat making competition. Ask anyone that goes to DEF CON.
First, I want to show you something that is just so beautiful. All right, look at this. Salesforce CEO confirms 4,000 layoffs because I just need less heads with AI. This was in September 2nd, 2025.
Okay.
Salesforce regrets firing 4,000 experienced staff and replacing them with
imagine
AI.
that! They regret firing 4,000 people for AI. What happened?
2025.
Not even
yes,
2 months.
That's right. Almost 3 months into 6 months
3 months
until they take your jobs. Did they take your jobs and then regret taking them? But the thing I really want to point out here is not, I'm not here to like laugh at the AI. I'm not here to kind of joke on the fact that they attempted to do this. I really want to talk about something that I think I realized from this experience. Salesforce is pulling back from its heavy reliance on large language models after encountering reliability issues that have shaken
Oh, imagine that! Who could have ever saw this was gonna happen? That LLM can't replace people.
confidence.
You see this? This is my shocked face.
Now, what, here's the problem, is that I guess I had a bit of a rose-colored lens on these people. Not the fact that they are constantly trying to shove AI down people's
Well, listen, it isn't the actions of my consequences. Exactly.
Firing thousands of people and holding press conferences, bragging about the fact that they can fire these people via AI. But what I kind of had is that at least they were using AI. Now what I realize after reading this and looking at this is that these people running Salesforce, they don't even use AI to any sort of extent. Okay, yeah, sure, they probably rewrite an email and go, well, the black box magic is just so super fantastic. It rewrote my corporate speak into even better corporate speak. It doesn't actually, they're not actually using it in a real consequential way. And that's when I realized that we as developers, we probably have some of the best insight into AI because we actually have to use it on large projects where you have to maintain context and continuously ask it questions and keep on going on the back and forth. And we realize how many pitfalls there are and how easy just like a single.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Like, just looking at what I'm doing here, I'm literally going back and forth with it on some security issues that it had. I still have to go resolve a few of these. Most of these now are just secrets being exposed when you're in debug mode. But there's been a lot of issues that I've had. Like, there's CodeQL. I was literally like, look, you had all these different issues here that were flagged, and I had to go back and forth with it. So they regret firing devs now to be replaced by AI. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Word can send an AI.
And this goes back to my point where I say that the thing that can actually be most easily replaced by AI is management and leadership. The reality is you don't have to be that creative. You just have to know how to prioritize and manage tasks. And LLMs are really great at that. So it's ironic that management and leadership wants to replace all the lower end people with AI when in fact they at the top are the most easy to be replaced. This has been proven in many different cases where you can essentially have your CFO and all those other operations running LLMs, and several people I know have actually done that to great success of different degrees for their own companies using, MCPs and stuff like that. So they have agents, sub-agents, and all that to actually do all this stuff. But yeah. Do I think Omarchi is good? I don't know. I haven't used it. I hear good things, but I'm not really into distro hopping. I'm on Pop OS and I'm happy.
Into just like the absolute weirdest directions. So when I see this,
Oh yeah,
when I
it's
see
gone into weird
these
directions
executives being like, oh, well, I guess we were maybe a little too confident in the ability. No, you didn't have any experience. You were told
Bingo!
that it can solve everything, and your limited text generation of corporate emails showed you that it could generate text, and you simply bought into the notion that it could replace people, that it was actually intelligent. It generated a Hello World application for you, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's better than I don't even need software developers anymore. But I do want to kind of highlight one more part.
Right, and this is something that I see all the time. Like, we were just talking about with GitHub and everything, okay? Yeah, you can totally, write an application, a basic thing, but I want you to think about this. I have inside of here, this is all my source code here, for different projects. Let's go to something that's a little bit more specific. Okay, let's go to Twitch. This is, the Stream Daemon. This is the tool that I used so that, I monitor when I'm live streaming, and then it posts to Discord, Matrix, Mastodon, and Blue Sky when I'm live, and then uses an LLM, which is an optional feature, but I use it in mine, to, make, hey, I'm live messages, basically based on the title. There's a lot that goes into this. If you were to just write this without knowing much about coding, you wouldn't be able to figure this out, and you'd probably be like, oh, okay, I can maybe, make the main script, because the main script is actually this, okay? You've got, like, 500 lines there. Thank you for the follow. And then over here, you have about a dozen files over here for various tests that I'm running in Python to test different modules out. But then I also modularized it and broke it down into different folders. So there's like the AI version over here, the AI script over here. I'm going to maximize this for a second. And this is another 500 lines, and you can see, like, I have it, doing prompts basically to tell my LLM when it goes in. So this will actually send it to Gemini, originally Gemini, now Gemma 3 on my local LLM server. But it's also got secrets management built in. It's, got a configuration script over here. So, I'm working on multiple users being able to work in here eventually. Monitoring stream states, where it's also going to write a file to disk to, basically cache it and let you know. It's Dockerized as well. You have your Blue Sky, Discord, Mastodon, Matrix. Like, you can't just get this running with an LLM without knowing all these things that have to go into it. That's just literally my one project for, making it live. You've got a publisher, you've got messaging, you got different utilities in here for all this stuff. That's just to, say when I'm live. And then I have Bash scripts over here. So we have two different languages in this project, Python and Bash, which are the installer scripts. So this one right here is like a little installer menu that you can run through and set everything up. Set up the matrix bots, uninstall it, update the Docker, and this is just to create the actual secrets. If you want to do it that way, it'll run it into Doppler. But then you also have it Dockerized over here. Okay? So all this is done. But this isn't even, this is just like, okay, you're already getting into like little basics of developing and everything like that. Now we have CI/CD flows in here. So this right here, this .github folder, this is CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development. And this triggers all these different kind of workflows over here, which I can show you what that actually turns into. If we go over to Stream Daemon, because I was just doing this afternoon to get this working. Like you can see, like, code changes a few hours ago. So, one, I wasn't just merging into main. I was doing the proper way of, I'm doing pull requests into my own branches, and then each branch is actually doing its own code tests. So you can actually see right here, I have my own code tests. That's what those CI/CD checks were. You got security scans, it's checking dependencies, running a test in Python 3.11 through 3.14, linting, another security check. It's got Python dependency scans, a build and test, so it builds the Docker, it tests it for security stuff, analyzing the code, all that. And then these are the actions that it goes off on. So when I actually have it build, what it also will do is it will build a Docker. So you can actually download this Docker from the GitHub container repository. So right here, build Docker. And that's literally building the Docker image and then doing security scans as well. You think that a person is just going to be able, like, that doesn't know this shit is just going to write a prompt and be like, oh yeah, I can do that. No, you have to know at least conceptually what you need to do, how you want it to get there. You have to know how to architect it and do it securely, because this wouldn't have done secrets management or half the things I put in until I actually put it in. So yeah. After, let me see, I have a pharmacy owner that asked me for a full stack developer to develop more complex website. After he was using Lovable himself to generate a page for his pharmacy, and he thought that's all he needs. Now he is stuck. Exactly. The only reason I was able to get this far is because I know what I'm looking for. Another example. Let's go with like something a little bit more basic, okay? We'll go into... All right. So, why did I open that? Habit. Let me open up a new tab here. I'm going to show you what this looks like first. So if you go into support.chiefgeek3d.com, you will get this website here. This is a website because people were asking me, hey, if I want to tip you in cryptocurrency or whatever, where can I go? Well, this is an easy way. I put this together. I'm not a front-end developer by any means. I suck at it. So I was like, this isn't essentially what I want it to, do, and I need to do all these different things, and it's even, like, fully responsive to the point, like, I can, look at that. So I even have it set up so when you're on your phone, it looks like that. And then when you're on your desktop, it'll expand out. It's a fully responsive page. But a person that's just making a web page isn't going to be able to do that. And it's literally just this index HTML and this CSS page. I needed LLM to help me with the CSS for sure, and quite a bit of the index. And then the next part, you're like, well, how is this hosted? This is a Cloudflare static page. I have this hooked up to a GitHub repository, so whenever I make changes, GitHub will Cloudflare will automatically push a new version of the page. But that's my point when I say, like, a lot of these, executives and people that are thinking that AI is going to replace all this, no, it can't do that unless you have people to guide it. LLMs, AI on their own, are freaking dumb. They are. Like you were saying, Lovable can help you make some great stuff, but you're still eventually at a certain point going to need someone that actually knows what you're capable of doing, how you want to architect it, and, all that to be scalable and do what you need to do.
This entire saga going on here. A home security company, Vivint, which uses Agentforce to handle customer support.
God.
2.5 million customers experience these reliability problems firsthand.
Oh, God.
Providing clear instructions to send satisfaction surveys after each customer interaction. The information reported that Agentforce sometimes failed to send surveys for unexplained reasons.
Oh, God.
Vivint worked with Salesforce to implement deterministic triggers to ensure consistent survey delivery. You do understand what they mean by deterministic triggers, right? Back in my day, I know I'm a lot older than a lot of you kind of Zoomers out there, and maybe I've seen some shit, and maybe I'm still kind of like a dinosaur. But you know what they call deterministic triggers back in my day, right? They called it programming. Okay, they're just
So how are you fixing our ability to get our AI working better? Well, we just got a programmer to do that stuff that your LLM couldn't do.
It now to happen, okay? Instead of just waiting for the magic black box to do some sort of magic call out to a server, instead they're just like, when this happens, we just got to send it no matter what, okay? Customer's done, they hung up, we send the survey. The end.
Wait, so the LLM was so dumb that it couldn't even figure out, hey, it's done, send survey. It was like, okay, we're done. Now what? Oh, I'm supposed to do something? All right, survey, right. That's basically what the AI was doing. Whereas, like, what they had to do was just like, oh, connection ended, send. In the same way that when I do this little, stream demon over here, okay? Where is it? I forgot. I used to call it Twitch and Toot, so I have it there. When this is done, there is... Where is it? God, I haven't dug into this in a while, so it's kind of hard to remember where I put the thing. Messaging. I think it's under messaging. AI generation. Nope, that's message over there. Base. Somewhere in here, there is an end of stream message. Log in. Well, anyway. Config. Was it? Well, somewhere in here, I'd have to, dig into this to remember, because I wrote this like months ago. But in here somewhere is the ability for when I have an end of stream. Oh, it's probably in the main script, because I'm a moron. Yeah, see, here we go. Handle platforms that went offline. Am I having LLM say, oh, yeah, when it's offline, do the thing? No, I'm literally having it monitor for when I go offline, okay? So, to give you an idea, I will literally just pull up. This is the Raspberry Pi that's running it. Go to Docker logs. Look, right there. Updating Discord embed every 2 minutes. And then when this is done, it's going to kick off another thing. And then it's going to tell the LLM, hey, I need you to write a message. I don't depend on the LLM to do the thing. I depend on programming to tell the LLM to do the thing, because I can't inherently trust the LLM to do the thing. Make sense?
There's no other option here. It's just so ridiculous. Imagine using the context of a conversation and at the end of it to try to like prompt the AI to go and send out a survey, as opposed to just be like, call ended, send out the survey. Okay, hey, that's like one line of code. Okay, maybe it's a few, maybe sending out the survey, maybe it's 100, but it's behind a nice little interface and it's just one line of code. Ridiculous. This just
literally what I was just saying. Literally what I was just saying. Like, everyone that works in tech has the same thought process. Think about that. And executives are over here like, no, we don't need developer. Black box going to send message for us. And developers, and I don't consider myself a developer. I'm a cybersecurity engineer. I develop a few things as part of the side of it, but that's not my main thing. Anyway, I even understand that you should have programming lead the LLM to do what you want it to do, not have the LLM do all the things and trust it's going to make the right calls. Is it unsecure to run a public accessible honeypot in the home network? Probably. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to have that at minimum isolated to its own VLAN. If you can, have it with physical separation. So how that you can do that is if you get a firewall like the pfSense box that I build, put a physical network card, have it on 2 separate physical ports, have the HoneyNet go on another port over there, have it completely isolated with hard reject rules so they can't just hop over. And there you go. You can potentially VLAN it as well, but there is ways that, if they figure out, like, it's a VLAN and then they can hop out and then do that, all that. Yeah, it's one of those, you want to have a secure environment for things to be built around. And this is another example of something I wouldn't trust an LLM to figure out. This is something you should, be able to do. Isolated in Proxmox, sadly no different hardware accessible. I mean, it's a start with Proxmox. I'm just giving you, like, the most safe way to do it. It's a matter of, like, layers. The more layers you can add, the better. That's as simple as it goes.
Truly just goes to show kind of the massive ignorance, this hype hysteria caused by AI happens with these executives, is that they just simply see a hammer, they use it once, and then after all of that, they're like, oh, okay, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. So obviously this is the most correct thing ever, and we're just going to use this everywhere at all times. It's just like, no, go build something. Go try to use it. Why don't you sit on a customer
Thinking of the
call
roses
and
over on
then
TikTok.
just voice dictate it in and watch what happens? And within just a little bit, you'll go, oh, wow, yeah, it's kind of falling off the rails here. It's falling off the rails there. Oh, look at it. It's doing all these things incorrectly here.
Yeah.
You could just run simple tests on previous conversations to see all the places it goes wrong. Goes, can we handle a 5% error rate with customers? Can we handle giving customers discounts by accident for unknown amounts? If you can't, change your strategy. Anyway, sorry, I'm just ranting because at this point it's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that these things happen. But I think the part that I gotta get out the tinfoil hat at this point. Okay, we're getting it out, we're strapping it on. Remember, I said this one right here: Salesforce confirms 4,000 layoffs because I need less heads with AI. You know what I realized is that this was never about it working or not working. This was just about making a quick buck on the old NASDAQ stock exchange.
Yeah.
I'm alleging here, okay? This is not confirmed in fact or anything. I'm just putting on the old tinfoil hat, making some conspiracy theories.
Executive only need line to go up for shareholder. I don't care about fucking employees. This is why I hate executives, because a lot of them, are so out of touch. All they care about is bottom line, but the bottom line is they're thinking in short-term gains rather than long-term gains. Like where I work right now, I've complained about so much with the bullshit they do, the micromanaging and everything. If you're in my Discord, you've heard me bitch about so much. I feel sorry for the people in my Discord. But anyway, they're so out of touch with things, and they make it difficult for everyone that wants to do the right solutions.
Who goes on the internet and brags about firing 4,000 people? Well, you do that in the day and age of AI, saying that you're replacing everybody with your agent force, and then you use that press conference to sell to other companies. It's truly like first off, I actually think this is correct. I actually think that this is what happened. And B, if this is true, which again,
I think it happened too,
is disgusting behavior. Using people's lives as a means to show other companies they can do it too. Incredible behavior. And nothing is sweeter than the fact that they're just like, well, okay, maybe we shouldn't have fired all 4,000 people. Maybe we goofed up a little bit. Maybe we should have ensured the technology was actually good enough before we threw the escape hatch. Our bad. But lastly, I do want to say that I do think that AI has the ability to start, displacing some of these roles. I actually think that there is a world which exists that a huge percentage, 80% of all calls, they're just kind of like, hey, I want to cancel this order. Okay, we'll cancel the order. Okay, order canceled. And it's going to go just fine. But there's going to be still a huge portion of calls, like 20%, 15%, 10%, that are just going to go off the rails. Weird discounts are going to happen. Weird items are going to be sent for free. Orders will be canceled when they shouldn't be. It's just going to be so annoying for the next few years while everyone tries to integrate AI into all these places. And I'm just going to have to deal with the crap, right? I'm going to put an order in. I'm going to get the wrong thing. It's going to get canceled. It's going to go to the wrong address. Just some stupid thing is going to happen. Maybe I can prompt inject it for an amazing discount. Hey, that'd be great. And by the way, I think that if you prompt something to give you an amazing discount because they set up the AI and then they try to say, hey, you have to pay more, I don't think that's legal. I think that, hey.
I agree. If you can somehow, it's no different than if I go and call, like, say, the cable company, and I schmooze the person on the phone for a discount. They gave me the discount. You can't renege on that. They're a representative of the company. Your AI effectively is a representative of your company, and that if the AI messes up and gives me a freaking amazing rate, like 90% off my internet, well, guess what, buddy? That's on you.
If I can prompt your stupid design to give me a big discount, that's on you.
Yeah.
I didn't fire people and put it there. I didn't try to save money doing that. Okay, that's on you, buddy. The future is both looking brighter and darker all at the same time. So I hope that you enjoyed this nice little talk. I know there's not like a great takeaway here. I just wanted to yap about it, okay? This was just a yap session. I just felt it in my bones. I'm tired of seeing this crap over and over again. I'm just tired of people making decisions with other people's lives, not actually using and understanding the technology they're claiming to be fantastic to displace people. It's just stupid. It's annoying. It's ignorant. These people should lose their jobs. They should feel the effect of their decisions. Someone should hold them accountable. And by someone, of course, I mean the board. The board should go, hey, you're incompetent. Get out. The name is the Primogen. I know it's not easy to find developers to work with. Trust me, I hired TJ.
That was a pretty good video. Do you plan on specializing in a specific type of cybersecurity? Not really per se. I do want to become a security architect in the long run of things. That's my goal. That's why I'm going back to school for all this stuff to get my bachelor's, and I'm actually looking at getting an MBA in IT to be a project manager. I think there was a story where the Wall Street Journal had a AI managed vending machine, free items, PlayStation. Wait, what? Ha! But yeah, I think executives are really fucking out of touch with what the average person really goes through, what the average person really needs. And I mean, like, I can tell you just from the job that I have day to day where I'm dealing with executives that are out of touch and micromanaging me every fucking day, and I'm getting pissed at it. And I know my manager is getting micromanaged themselves, which is why it's like shit rolls uphill. It's draining everyone. It's burning me out. But thankfully, I'm in talks for 3 potential jobs right now. Got an interview tomorrow. Got an interview the week after for the second round. Got to hear back for the third one, which should be sometime this week for their second round. And I'm still applying for other things. I have no... I have no intention to stay at my current job for this year. I'm getting the hell out. But yeah. I'm just tired of out of touch executives and stuff. Just let me do my fucking job in cybersecurity. Listen to my fucking advice. And if you have feedback, that's fine. I'm fine with feedback. I'm fine with, constructive feedback and all that. But if you're gonna talk shit behind my back, I don't give a fuck about you. Because the funny thing is, these executives that, are micromanaging, apparently they barely know me. It's small enough that they know your name, but they don't know me. They haven't actually come to my face and told me, like, hey, this is where, I'm having issues with you and your work and everything. And instead go shit talk me to the other leaders, and then it happens to go trickle down to my friends in other departments that then tell me this shit goes around. And then I'm just sitting there getting less and less respect for my leaders because y'all don't know how to actually lead, and instead you're micromanaging. Here, my direct leadership talks behind my back, besides Mike, who will shit talk to my face. He loves me. I don't mind if you shit talk to my face. If you have a problem with me, come fucking talk to me. Come fucking right up to my face and tell me what your problem is. We'll figure it out. We're adults. We can figure it out. But no, like, high school's never ended for these fucking people. And, like, they've never actually realized, hey, you're not that important. You just happen to have been at the same company for 20 years, and that may have been your entire life, but it's not my life. Yeah, bowling for soup. You got the reference. Yeah, I'm just tired of a lot of the corporate BS. I'm tired of the, micromanaging. I'm tired of the expectation that you're supposed to go above and beyond. And I've straight up told my manager, like, I'm not going above and beyond anymore. I went above and beyond, and all I did was I got shit on for the things I went above and beyond on. So I'm just going to do the bare minimum for my job moving forward. And the bare minimum is still better than what a lot of people is doing. I'm not saying that's an egotistical thing. I'm saying that legitimately because in my team, I'm one of the few people that does a lot of the things that I do. They want, some complex script to go and, parse different information. They come to me. Oh, we need to get something terraformed and the architect is a little busy. Oh, you come to me. And it's not like I haven't told my team, like, you guys should learn this stuff. Well, we don't have enough time to learn this stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, anyway. Tiny URL, WSJ. Let me check this out before I call it a night. What was this that you have over here? What is this? Anthropic's Claude AI loses 1,000 on Wall Street Journal vending machine upgrade boost profits. Anthropic's AI Claude managed a vending machine at the Wall Street Journal, but was manipulated by journalists into giving away snacks, causing over $1,000 in losses through social engineering and hallucinations. I would have done that. I would have done that. I would have so done that. So yeah, they outsmarted the machine. Upgrading the model from Claude Sonnet 3.7 to the more advanced 4.5 version marked a turning point, with enhancements like a new AI CEO agent that established objectives and key results. Jeez. And this is gonna get worse. This is gonna get worse. This is not gonna get better. But anyway. It's getting a little late, guys. Unfortunately, I have the shitty job tomorrow. I know. So I have to call it a night. Thank you all for joining me. Make sure, if you haven't already, to follow me on all the socials. I am on I have a Discord. I have a Matrix server. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Mastodon. I also have a YouTube. I made a YouTube video. It came out today. Y'all should watch it. It's how AI is a bubble and how I believe 95% of AI businesses are going to fail. So go check it out and follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Kick. Follow me on, I feel like I'm forgetting a site. Oh yeah, there's TikTok, YouTube, Kick, Twitch, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Discord, Matrix. We're everywhere. And I'll be back on Wednesday. Maybe I'll do some extra streams throughout the week. We'll see how I feel about that, like always. But thank you all for joining me. As always, stay safe out there. Fuck the corporate world. Love you all. And happy hacking. And stick around for the raid if you're over on Twitch. I will see you, though, for the next scheduled stream on Wednesday if I don't feel like doing one tomorrow.
Thank you.